Starting in the goal, number 32, Cale Morris. And left defense, number 5, Matt Pellitzek. And right defense, number 3, Jordan Gross. The starting forward line for Notre Dame, at left wing, number 26, Cam Morrison. The starting center for the Irish, number 18, Jake Evans. And at right wing, number 13, Colin Tuckson. The rest of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish and their head coach, Jeff Jackson. And now let's meet the starting lineup for the Engineers of RPI. Leading the Engineers on the ice, please welcome the junior engineer, Patrick Connell. And starting in the goal, a freshman from Victoria, British Columbia, number 1, Lindsay Marshall. And left defense, a senior from Oakville, Ontario, number 19, Mike Morathamasis. And left defense, he's a junior from Sparta, New Jersey, number 4, Tommy Moran. And the starting forwards for the Engineers, at left wing, a senior from Stockholm, Sweden, number 12, Victor Lipscher. And center for the Engineers, a junior from St. Mary's, Ontario, number 21, Brady Whitman. And at the right wing, a freshman from Plano, Texas, number 7, Troy York. Welcome to the Engineers, their head coach, Dave Smith, assistant coaches are Roland Graham and Dan Hewitt. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise as the RPI pep band play the national anthems of Canada and the United States of America.
shots on goal, but they look like the aggressive team coming out of the gate.
Yeah, exactly. RPI just came out strong. We had definitely a good amount of chances there, a couple of rebounds, and we're in their zone. We're leaning towards their zone, which is a great start to the game.
Face off to the left of Morris, won back by Notre Dame. Near side chip, up the wall, played on further by Ogilvie to center. Stopped up at the RPI line. It's Jesper Orval flinging it far side, now backing up in his own zone and playing up the wall, Bobby Nardella. Shot back in by the Engineers. RPI touching up on the play, in fact, making changes. It'll be Tori Dello across for Nardella. Shot up the boards right in front of the Notre Dame bench area and chipped into the RPI zone. Jared Wilson, the senior captain, with his first touch. Up the wall for Emil Orval, who spins and dumps it in. Morris waiting for it there, plays it past Hayhurst. Tipped right back towards the face of the goal. It'll fall into the glove of Morris, and again he has to make a play. Some early action for Cale Morris, the Larkspur, Colorado native.
Yeah, we had a nice smooth transition on the change there, coming back, regrouping, and going right back into their zone. Exactly like the aggressive forecheck that we want.
Notre Dame fans stepping in a chance here to check out their club if they're from the capital region here. I'm sure there's a good number of them that support the university for especially football, but if the hockey team's in town, why not check them out as well? Puck played to center by the Fighting Irish, chipped into the zone, and it'll be tapped along the far wall. Hayhurst has his man tied up in the corner. That's Dawson Cook, and now RPI breaks back the other way. Emil Orval trying to flick it in front. Comes right back to him. Far side feed. Hayhurst walking in. Toe drag. No. He was defended on the play by Mike O'Leary, the sophomore from Halifax, Nova Scotia. And now Notre Dame to center. Into the zone they come. It's Bo Brower. Brower on the move into the corner. Stops up there. Picks a couple of shoves from Prapavesis. Brower looking to cycle. On further for O'Leary. Now a shot from the point. Save made by Marshall. His first stop of the night. Shot came from Hellickson at the point, kept in. Swatted into the zone by Gross. They tie up down low. Near side corner, Todd Burgess coming back to help out. The sophomore from Phoenix, Arizona. Had it for a moment, kept alive by the Fighting Irish. Gross across for Hellickson, back to Gross. Gross looking for a lane, his shot hit the skate of Billy Jerry. Tipped into the corner. Trying to push it out was Burgess, that doesn't work. Spinning around near corner, Engineers can't clear the zone. Prapavesis threw it right to the point. And now they play catch behind the RPI goal. Spinning with it there. Jenkins trying to jam it in. Save made on the pad. Penalty coming up here on RPI. And now the referee gets undercut. We're going to get a whistle. That's Jordan Gross, the defenseman, who's trying to move into a shooting spot.
I guess that whistle was a good thing.
Yeah.
We were struggling to get it out of the zone a little bit there. A little bit of a defensive breakdown. However, the whistle is going to let us regroup here, get our mindset a little bit better, and we have a penalty here coming up.
Yeah, interesting. I thought it was an RPI because the Fighting Irish continue to play the puck, but now it's only a Notre Dame player off. It's hitting from behind on Matt Steeves. That was a little bit confusing.
That was a little bit confusing.
In fact, Cale Morris went to the bench for an extra skater. I don't know if anyone really knew who the penalty was on except for the referee, who failed to blow his whistle.
Who fell?
He fell down as well, so he is back up on his feet, and is a clearing effort here. RPI on the power play this year, 13%, 6 for 46. The Notre Dame penalty kill, pretty good, 31 for 36. That's 86.1% in the top third in the country. RPI power play looking to get going here with an early chance. No score, 3.5 into the first period. Another clear by Notre Dame to center, played by Prapavesis to Liljegren. Snap pass across for Will Riley. 5 goals and 1 assist for the Toronto native Will Riley. And recent Pittsburgh Penguins draft choice back in June. Bouncing puck behind the RPI goal. Stolen away. Chance to clear for the Fighting Irish, and they do. It's Evans all the way down. Stopped there by Lyndon Marshall. The two netminders the Engineers have used, very easy to tell apart. Lyndon Marshall set up completely red, aside from a little bit of black and white trim, and Chase Perry on the other side of things, mostly white gear for him with a little bit of black and red. So Lyndon Marshall in goal for RPI. It's RPI into the attacking zone, chipped in by Burgess. He'll get there first in the corner. Shot around near side. Wilson at the point. Knocks it down there. Across, tipped in deep by Harris. 42 seconds to go on this power play. Polino knocked down, back to his feet. Puck loose. Whiffen gave it away. Shot up the far side boards. Whip pinching in Harris to keep it alive for a moment. But now another chance here maybe for Notre Dame to clear, and they do. It's Tori Dello all the way down. 15-17 to go first period. 25 seconds left on the RPI power play. There was a hitting from behind on Matt Steeves, the freshman from Bedford, New Hampshire. Jared Wilson into the zone now on the move. Shoots it off the glass. He gets stood up there. Chance to clear again for Gross. Couldn't do it. Picked up by Jesper Orval. Orval, cross point feed. Faking a shot. Now a shot comes. It's blocked in front. Getting in front of that one was Peak. Engineers still in the zone. Penalty about to expire. Prapavesis. Now it's over. Across some room. Tyrannies. Grant Orister. That one tipped up off the glass. Picked up near corner by the Fighting Irish, trying to work it out of the zone. It's kept in by Tyrannies. Race for the puck far side of the zone. Nice job to shield the puck by Andrew Peak and move it out. He'll eventually dump in as Notre Dame gets a change. Prapavesis off a feed from Marshall. Up the near side boards, tipped along by Jesper Orval. Wave off the icing. It hit Fighting Irish stick. And now up the far wall, stretch pass to the line. It's tipped in deep. Gather on the other side, no. Shot off the base of the net from no angle there was Cal Burke, a sophomore from Boxborough, Massachusetts. As the Engineers move it back to the Notre Dame zone where it's turned back around. No, knocked out of the air. Puck played with a high stick there. It was good hand-eye from John Richards, but in doing so, that's an infraction. Can't play it from that high off the ice.
Right. After a long play, finally a whistle. The RPIs, we seem to have had some good control there. We kept playing the puck on the power play and everything until we got to even strength. It got a little bit messier, but now we got the whistle, we can get right back.
Chance to regather things here. 6 minutes into the first, no score, RPI Notre Dame. And after you give up 3 goals each in your last 2 first periods, it's nice to see a 0 up there, at least for the Notre Dame side of things. And Coach Smith talked about a pregame, have to have a better start, especially against the number 4 team in the country. Riley up the wall. Richards on further to center. Good hustle from Reisinger. Couldn't quite get there. Turned back around. Here is Dello. Playing on a backhand. Intercepted by TJ Samick. Samick on the move. The sophomore will flip it in. From the Twin Cities, getting a chance to make his second appearance, TJ Samick. Dumped in again by Notre Dame's team. Still feeling each other out just a bit here. The Fighting Irish seem to be a little bit reluctant to skate the puck into the zone. Here's a shot and a save. Easy wrist right on goal, right into the chest of Morris, who made the stop standing up. He'll hold on for a whistle.
Yeah, Matt Harris just skated it down end to end and got a good shot on goal. Right now we're leading 5 shots on 2 versus the Irish. That's a good ratio compared to past weekend, so let's keep it up.
Yeah, Engineers have yet to outshoot their opponents in games this year. But 5-2 early is a good sign. Shot in deep by the Fighting Irish. Will this be icing? No, they wave it off. Puck played behind the goal. To the far side. Now a shot coming. And it looked like Marshall saw that shot from the point by Gross, and he's able to hold on.
Good save there. From the point, it was a little bit hard to see, but defense did a good job clearing out the front of the net, and now we can get a change here, get some fresher lights out there, and clear it out of our zone and get it down there for some more shots.
Evan Tyrannies and Jacob Hayers, the top 2 face-off men for RPI. It's Tyrannies out there now. Evan at 44.5%. It's an area the Engineers have struggled in the last number of years. And a face-off one back. Orval's tripped up. Fans want to call, not going to get it. And we play on just 1 penalty so far. Went against Notre Dame, a hit from behind. But RPI unsuccessful on the first power play. 0 for 1. As it's picked up by the Engineers, Evan Tyrannies, stick handling through center, finds overall across far side for Polino. Polino into the corners. There's not a very big line forward-wise for RPI, but it'll be picked up here and shot far side through everybody. Now here is Jenkins. Jenkins walking in, a wrister and a blocker save. And it'll be picked up by Tyrannies. Ahead for Polino, moving up ice. He'll slow it down there, drops it back for Riley, a wrister! And that one hit a leg on its way through. Riley takes a bump in the corner. The defenseman in an advanced position here continues to battle for the puck below the goal line. They still scrap away for it. Chopped towards the point, kept in by Samick. Samick walking in, a wrist shot, a glove save, rebound loose in front. York couldn't quite snare it. And the Irish able to clear. Samick back to his own end. That was a good chance there for the Engineers. And now it's shot all the way down. This will be icing on RPI. It'll send the face-off back down their end.
Yeah, Cal Morris there on Notre Dame didn't seem to really see the puck, and he got some rebounds out there that RPI could have capitalized on, but couldn't quite get a handle on it. So now we're back in our zone, and we got a change here for some more fresh legs, and also Notre Dame change, though.
Face-off coming here in the RPI zone. Picked up by Riley, and he clears it out to center. All the way down it goes. It'll be played up the far boards, knocked down there as they scrap for it. Here's Whiffen. Centering pass, broken up by Liljegren, or was intended for Liljegren, broken up. Shot back in by RPI. Played around to the far side, nobody home. Picked up by York. York centering, Whiffen, tap to the corner. Tight angle shot, hit the outside of the crossbar from Liljegren. Still loose in front. Trying to find it, Whiffen. It goes through his legs to the corner. Battled for there. And now it's Gilbert who's wrapped up and taken down. Puck out to center, and this will be icing and a whistle on Notre Dame, so keep those skaters out there. Shots are 9-4 RPI with 10:53 to go in the first, and a scoreless game.
Yeah, RPI is getting a lot of shots on goal, which is, I'm assuming, what Coach Smith has told him to do. In past games, it seems like they're hesitant trying to make the perfect play, but today they're just really shooting puck, and that could definitely help them on the scoreboard in the coming few shots. More shots, more opportunity.
Face-off in the Notre Dame zone, just trying to square away who should be on the ice for Notre Dame after a couple of them made a change. Puck shot around behind. This is a tired group out there for the Irish, and they're going to have a chance to clear. To the RPI line, picked up by Tommy Grant. Will shoot it off the wall. Played on further into the bench by Reisinger. We get a stoppage and another whistle, and a face-off coming in the neutral zone.
A little bit of an unlucky chip there almost into Notre Dame's bench area, but slowing down the game a little bit, allowing Notre Dame to change after a long shift of not being able to change. So here we're going to start off with center ice.
Prapavesis. Grant up the wall and all the way down, was deflected, so no icing on RPI here. Dello, near side. Poked free off the stick of the Brower. He skates back behind the goal. This is now Nardella to the center line where it's broken up and head back the other way. The Engineers, Emil Orval. Rister on goal and a glove save. Engineers continue to rack up the shots on goal. That's their 10th of the period. We're not halfway through it. And again, good start to this game for RPI. Capitalizing with a goal would be big to go forward and try to win this game.
Right, exactly. And they are definitely en route for that with the amount of shots that they're getting. This is a huge difference in comparison to past weekends and past games overall. We're out shooting our component, which is not typical for us.
Engineers, Fighting Irish win the draw. They played around behind. Good pressure from Hayhurst forces a near turnover. Turning back to their own zone is Notre Dame now. It's Tyson, and then they dump it in. He'll chase after it. Samick's the first one there. Wraps it near side. Past Evans. Picked up by Emil Orval. Freshman from Halmstad, Sweden. Shipping it along for Burgess. A couple of guys with only assists to their collegiate careers. Burgess with 6. And Emil Orval with 5 helpers. So both of those two looking for their first career goals in the cherry and white. He'll be rung in from center, over the top of Marshall, around to the near side. Knocked down there by Tyson. Poked free by Hayhurst, who battles in the near side. Spinning with it, Evans fires it on goal. It might have been headed wide, but it's patted away by Marshall anyway. And now Samick behind the net, trying to chip it past Tyson. He breaks it up. Tyson in the far corner. Back to the point. Hellickson a shot. Saved by Marshall. Loose behind him, they score. Marshall did most of the job there, but not all of it. He couldn't quite squeeze the pads together all the way. And it just sat behind the net, and it was finished off by Evans, the leading point getter for Notre Dame. It's 1-0.
Right, Linden made the initial save, and then it just trickled in a little bit, and then they capitalized on that opportunity of it not being fully.
Yeah, you can see at least we can. Haley, well, maybe not again. They showed it to us once, but not again. Evans with his 5th goal. That's now tied for the team lead with Andrew Ogilvie. That's unfortunate because Marshall did a pretty good job stopping that shot.
Right.
But it snuck through. It's 1-0 Notre Dame on the Fighting Irish. That was their 6th shot, and now RPI turns and flips it in from center ice on goal. It'll be the 7th shot, or excuse me, the 11th shot for the Engineers there. But it's important for RPI to bounce back like they did last weekend in the first period. Both times they were able to come back and after the opposing team, visiting team scored, get a goal. That's what RPI has to do now.
Exactly, and we're en route for that. Like I said earlier, with the more shots, there's definitely a change in play that I can definitely notice now because of the prevalent amount of shots that we have. And some of them are not great quality shots, but it's still on net. And Cal Morris could definitely fumble the puck a little bit, and then we could capitalize on a rebound, which would be a great goal, scrappy goal, a goal no matter what.
Right. You're not too worried about how you get them against a team like Notre Dame or anybody for that matter.
Exactly.
But RPI getting shots to the net, getting pucks to the net, and a couple times early on, especially the first couple minutes, RPI did forced a couple of rebounds from Morris. Weren't able to stick those home, but a good sign nonetheless that they're playing with this team. And well, Notre Dame does have the lead. Evans scoring, the senior from Toronto, Ontario. That's his 5th goal, as I mentioned, his 20th point on the year, leads the team. Face-off coming up in the Notre Dame zone after they clear off some of the ice after our halfway through the period break. RPI wins the face-off. Shot from Wilson, and that one hit his own man. It's to be played by a high stick, they're saying. I don't know how they could have determined that Orval played with a high stick. It drilled him. Now a centering pass right in front. The chance went wide. Half fanned on there. Now Orval battling for it again. Back to the point. Matt Harris. Rister looking for the deflection. Didn't get it from Polino. It'll be carried behind the goal and slowed down by the Fighting Irish. That was Malmquist. And now a drop pass there. Malmquist looking for the backdoor feed. And it was deflected wide there by Burke. On a chance out in front. Now another try, they score. Burke picks out the top left corner and makes it 2-0. Defensive zone, a little bit of a breakdown there for RPI. As looked like they had maybe a chance to clear, did not, and Burke makes them pay with a perfect shot in the top corner.
Exactly, that goal came out of a breakdown in our zone. The Irish had a good forecheck coming in with a lot of good passes. But then we just couldn't tie up the right man, and then they just got the right shot right in front of the net with a man who wasn't really covered in front, which is unfortunate. Yeah,
Burke with the goal. It was a good shot. His 5th of the year. Now he's tied for the team lead. And this Notre Dame team really spreads out the goal scoring. You have Evans up there with the 20 points, but they have 5 players with 4+ goals on this team. So you don't really know where the goals are going to come from, and that's a good quality to have. Tommy Grant up the wall for York, on for Whiffen, who tips it in deep. But Notre Dame scoring really against the run of play, against the flow of play of this game, which is something you certainly wouldn't expect. RPI playing pretty well early on, but they now trail 2-0. Here come the Fighting Irish. Evans far side. Shot coming through. Looked like a pass in the end. That skips all the way through. From Morrison, and now back comes RPI, chipping in far side. Prapavesis. York's the first one to it for the Engineers. He's wrapped up there by Gilbert. York battling for it. Gilbert comes away with it for Notre Dame. York pestering him. Puck to center, hits a skate. It'll be controlled by Reisinger. Back for the Engineers, Riley, and now near side Prapavesis. Up the wall, past Richards, all the way down. Out to play is Morris. Has to push it past the forechecker in Jerry, and now it's cleared to center in the air. Samek gloves it down and shoots it back in wide. A goal played by Morris anyway. He'll help it behind the cage. Twisting and turning back there is Peak. He takes a hit from Richards, knocks him down, and he's going to take a penalty here as RPI gets a touch. They're going to get Richards, I guess, for holding. It was a good hit, and when he went in for maybe the second effort, they got him for a hold. He'll probably argue he was just finishing his check there, but the referee does not see it that way. Yeah, he must have just pushed him a little bit too extra to make the ref a little bit upset with him. But nonetheless, that was a pretty good play. He got him off the puck and everything.
But now we're going to start off down in RPI zone.
So a power play for Notre Dame. Fighting Irish at 23.7% on the year, 9 for 38. That's a good number. Engineers PK 36 for 46, 78.3%. And so they'll look to improve upon that here. And they get an early clear and a good sign for the PK. All the way down it went, and now they'll start things out here. Notre Dame on the move through center ice. It's Jordan Gross, senior from Maple Grove, Minnesota, off for Ogilvie. Shot in far side, and they corral it along the half wall. It's Burke, scorer of the most recent Notre Dame goal. Up the wall now. Ogilvie at the boards. Up top for Gross. Shot coming, deflected over the top of the net. And now at the side of the cage, Marshall trying to freeze it, couldn't corral it. Here's Hellickson down low. Shot coming, that hits a couple of skates on the way through, just pinballing its way in. Corralled again by Hellickson. Good stick there by Tyrannese to break up the cross-ice feed. RPI going to get a partial change on the PK. Minute 8 to go in this Notre Dame power play, their first of the night. Is backing up in his own zone now is Bobby Nardella. He, 7 power play points, the most on this club from the blue line. As it'll be played in far side by Morrison. Wilson trying to clear on the backhand. Kept in there. Shot up the boards by Peak. Now tied up in the far circle was Riley. Puck play behind the goal, and we're going to get a penalty here. I think. Holding is the call. Who's it going to go on? Looks like they're going to get, looks like a Notre Dame player.
Huh. Oh, no. Maybe. No, it is Notre Dame. Yeah.
Their door's open. It's going to go on Tyson. Yeah, Haley, I couldn't quite tell either.
Yeah, I was a little worried it would be on RPI. It looked like he was holding his stick there a little bit, but maybe it was just the reaction of the Notre Dame player that set the ref off there.
So it's 2-0 Notre Dame here with 5:39 to go in the first period, but now we'll have a little 4-on-4 hockey for 44 seconds. Then John Richards comes out of the box, and the Engineers will enjoy a minute 16 of power play time. RPI wins the draw. Riley, wrist shot, saved by Morris. The rebound pops to the near side, but only Nardella is there. They'll play it around behind for Malmquist, and now back behind the net they go. Gross to center, good connection. Here's Evans into the zone, trying to make a move. Evans tiptoes around Pravovesas. Near side Nardella couldn't quite corral the pass back to the point. Gross down low. Malmquist turning and shooting. Glove saved by Marshall, and he holds on to that one. Good action at both ends of the ice here, 4-on-4.
And Will Riley really saved the shot there that was on an open net, since Lyndon Marshall was caught up on the other side of the net after the first shot. So Will Riley really saved that from going in the back of the net.
Face-off coming here in the RPI zone. And we're going to get whistles, and maybe they're not allowing an RPI change. Or maybe they're not allowing a late RPI change.
Yeah.
It'll be Whiffen to take the draw here against Burke, and Whiffen wins it cleanly. Back to Riley. He'll try the near side for Pravovesas. Still 4-on-4 for another 13 seconds before the Engineers' second power play. Both teams 0 for 1 on the man advantage here. Now that pass out of Whiffen's reach, corralled by Notre Dame in their own end, is Gilbert. Throws an indirect off the end wall for his defensive partner, Peak, and now RPI's on the power play. Puck trickling up to the neutral zone. Burkle backhanded all the way down on Marshall, who stops it there. Todd Burgess, far side of his own end. A little bit of pressure up ice from Jack Jenkins, the Lake Bluff, Illinois native and junior. But now RPI will be on the power play for 55 more seconds. Wilson on the move into the zone. Flips it in deep. Penalty coming up. It's going to be a slash, I think. But the Engineers are going to go 5-on-3 here. If they want to give the puck away, they'll stay on the attack. Off goes Marshall. Delayed penalty here on Notre Dame. RPI down a couple, but with numbers up here, tipped all the way through. Still no touch from the Fighting Irish. Now flipped all the way down the ice. It was an odd pass from Burgess. Puck might have been on edge. But Engineers back to their own zone now. Touched along. Notre Dame trying to get a change here. That allows the Engineers into the zone. Yorker wrister and a shoulder save made. And now we finally get a touch from the Irish. And a power play 5-on-3 here, Haley, for 20 seconds. So we'll see if the Engineers are able to first win that all-important face-off and then try to score.
Right, we're 5-on-3 and we're starting the face-off in Notre Dame's zone. So let's try to keep some control for this 20 seconds and really capitalize it and set up a good power play here.
This will be the third power play chance for RPI. They are officially 0 for 1, with one of the opportunities coming to an end in the 20 seconds. Dawson Cook is off for hooking here, so not a slash. But same the play I saw nonetheless. Shot down by Notre Dame. It'll be corralled here by Riley. RPI, if they want to take advantage of this 5-on-3, has to move quickly. 8 seconds to go on it. Riley looking to go coast to coast. Stops at the hash mark's far side. Waiting. Still Riley. Out of the box comes Tyson. Prapavesis on it now, 5-on-4. Riley waiting. Pulls it back. Wrist shot coming. Blocked in front. Picked up Prapavesis. Far side, one time no. Shot by Orval. That's Emil. He'll turn it back to the far side for Hayhurst. Riley a drive. Right on and a save by Morris. And again, it looked like good sight lines for the sophomore netminder, Cale Morris, on that one. And it was also right in his breadbasket. Not a tough stop there.
Yeah, we had some good control there. We cycled it a lot and we played it around. And we made Notre Dame kind of lose control in their own zone on their penalty kill.
So RPI now 0 for 2 on the power play. Minute 26 on this most recent advantage. It's shot around behind, comes down. Prapavesis trying to jump his man, but it skips by everybody all the way down. Marshall will stop it there. 3:13 to play in the first. 2-0 Notre Dame. Here's Liljegren. At center, drops it back for Emil Orval. He'll skate it into the zone before handing it off. Prapavesis, tough play, pops to Hayhurst. Far side circle, Emil Orval. Hayhurst at the far point. Near point, Riley. One-timer hammered off the back wall. Orval up top for Hayhurst. Back to Riley. Doesn't like where that pass got to him. He'll play it off for Prapavesis. Now Riley again, far side for Emil Orval, or make it Hayhurst rather. To Riley. 45 seconds on the power play. Shot into traffic, was blocked by Dello. He'll skate to center before firing it down. Both teams changing special team units as Marshall has a little bit of pressure on him from Evans. He'll play it far side. Touch pass off the wall for Wilson. Evans continues to put pressure on. It's a one-man forecheck, but he's doing plenty of damage here, not allowing the Engineers out of their own zone. Here's Whiffen now near side. 20 seconds to go in the power play. Swatted at center ice. Evans trying to track down a potential shorthanded chance. He's beaten to the puck by Wilson. And now here's Harris to center ice on the move. 9 seconds to go in the power play. Shot in by Matt Harris. Morris can't slow it down. Shoveled on further by Wilson, and now it's picked up in the corner by Gilbert. He can't clear. Wilson waiting, looking for a shot. It's blocked by Dello, or Gilbert rather. And now it's Notre Dame to center. They'll dump it in. They kill off the penalty. 0 for 3 now for RPI on the power play, although a couple of them shorter than the full allotted, normally allotted 2 minutes. As the Engineers will reset behind the goal. Minute 36 to go in the first period. 2-0 lead, and the puck hops into the bench, the Engineers' side. Face-off will come back in their own zone. Haley, 1:33 to play in the first.
After a bit of a rocky power play there in our own zone, and a nice penalty kill forecheck there by one player on Notre Dame, we definitely got it back into their zone, but now it looked like we got a little bit of a breakdown going on. So we got to reset here with this face-off in our zone.
Draw coming up to the left of Marshall. Trying to one-hand it out of the zone. Grant pops to the middle of the ice where it's picked up by Tierney's. Back to him, turning around is Orval. He'll just flip it on goal from the blue line. Chipped off the glass to center, or the boards rather. Tommy Grant will flip it back in. Troy York needs to touch up and does. That allows the Fighting Irish to shoot it in on the redirect. Grant, far side connection to York. RPI breaks to center. Through Prapavesis, a little bit behind him, has to backtrack a bit with Steves on him. Now Steves is offside. Jenkins dumps it in, and in doing so shoots it out of play. And a horde of small children look to find that puck, and one of them has it. An exciting night for that lad, I'm sure. Did you ever catch a puck at a hockey game, Haley?
I have once or twice, yeah, actually, in the Sabres game. So.
Sabres? Wow, Sabres?
Sabres,
yeah. A Sabres puck?
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic.
It's always exciting, especially with a huge crowd like we have here tonight.
Did you say 2?
2 pucks.
You have 2 Sabres pucks?
I have 2 Sabres pucks.
You must have gone to a lot of games, or just got some puck luck.
Definitely lucky.
Puck behind the Notre Dame goal. It's played far side. From Gross to the near side, trying to walk into the zone. A nice break up there by Samick. He's had a good first period. On for Billy Jerry. Jerry into the zone. He'll shoot it in. And now Gross over to get it. Tied up by Jerry, but works it up the near wall. comes free. Gross has to play at the side of the cage behind. Chipped far side by O'Leary. Aptly named Mike O'Leary into the zone for the Irish. Arister on goal. Save made. Rebound pops free for a moment. Swatted away by the Engineers and eventually cleared to center by Orval. That's Emil. Shot in from center ice over Marshall. Comes down off the glass. Loose in front. Had to be swept away that time by Riley for one of the Irish could latch onto it. And now it'll be picked up by Samek in the near corner as the first period comes to an end. A lot to be happy about if you're RPI in the first period. You outshoot the number 4 team in the country 16-10. But like any top team, and as Coach Smith put it in pregame, any national title contender like Notre Dame is, they take advantage of their opportunities. That's exactly what Notre Dame did. A puck that just squeaked through the pads of Marshall. They put it through on the other side. That was Evans scoring from inside the RPI crease. And then taking advantage of an errant puck in the offensive zone, Cal Burke made no doubt about it, picking out the top left corner for his 5th of the year. And that's where we stand after one period. Perry Lascaris, Haley Miller at the Houston Fieldhouse. And Haley, some positives there. Obviously, the power play didn't connect when it's had a couple opportunities there, 3 of them. But some positives to head into the second, down a couple.
Right, so one big thing that I think RPI we could work on is connecting on our passes. We've had a few good breaks where we're really tape to tape, going into the zone, making a good play, getting some good rebounds in there. However, there are definitely a few breakdowns where it's sloppy to the skates or a little bit too far ahead of us or making a buddy pass. But those are things that we can fix, and they are definitely improving from last weekend.
So our intermissions this week, or tonight, I guess I should say, I talked to Ralph Isernia, head RPI football coach, about tomorrow's big NCAA tournament game at Wesley College. And then who do we have? You have a swimmer, right, Haley, for our second intermission?
Yeah, for the second intermission, I talked to a freshman swimmer, Chris Lee.
Chris Lee, that'll be our second intermission that Haley talked to Chris earlier this week. So our first intermission will be with Ralph Isernia and the Engineers taking on Wesley College. You can listen to that game, of course, tomorrow on WRPI. It's at 12 o'clock kickoff down in Delaware. With that, we will step aside. Your score once again after 1 is number 4, Notre Dame 2, and RPI nothing. This is RPI Hockey 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
I'm Drew Brees, NFL quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, here with Bugs Bunny.
Fans, if you're thinking of buying or selling a home, contact Jolene Morris with the Brewer Morris team at Howard Hanna Real Estate Services. The number is 518-331-1579. Top sales team in Rensselaer County, so let Jolene's expertise move you. RPI Hockey would like to thank GE, Hose, Septic, CDPHB, Boucher, and Clark Financial Group. Market 32 Red Restaurant, Yankee Trails, Red Front Pizza, Drive City Rivers, Dunkin' Donuts, Toyota, Greenland Peterson Inc., CBTA, and the Jerry's, Warren Turkey and Fame, Boucher and Clark Benefits, Wicked Smart, Gatherers Granola, Fryhoppers, Howard Hanna Realty, and the Tri-City Health Clubs, all proud sponsors of RPI Hockey. Ryan's Wake is proud to support RPI Athletics. Head downtown after the game tonight and check out the Pub Kitchen at Ryan's Wake. Award-winning chili, fall off the road trips, hand cut steaks, and 10% off with your RPI staff or student ID. A legendary deal like this is only found at Texas Roadhouse at 105 Wolf Road in Doubling. Come dine with us at Texas Roadhouse.
Hello, I'm Lee Knapp, Director of Athletics and Associate Vice President. Welcome to our RPI fans, supporters, and alumni. Thank you for your continued support of our student athletes and RPI Athletics. Let's go Red.
Hi, I'm Dave Smith, coach of the RPI hockey team.
And I'm Trace Jones. Like Coach Smith, I believe in a strong, skilled, successful team East North Jones Actor Murphy Law Firm, one of the most successful personal injury law firms in the entire state of New York. We are your hometown attorneys. We're here to help. Coach, good luck tonight. Go Red.
Yeah, it didn't seem like too bad of a period, but we are getting the shots. Again, Notre Dame had 10, we had 16. We outshot them in the period, which is an improvement from past weekends, as I've been saying, which proves it's a huge difference. But now we just got to capitalize on some of the rebounds and some scrappy goals. Win some more face-offs, that could be vital. Notre Dame has won 13, lost 9. We've only won 9, so...
Right, that's not bad either. The Engineers, right, they've struggled on the dot, so it's not a bad number either for them to stay within close to 500.
Right. So with Will Riley getting 3 shots on net, that's awesome. Troy York with 2, TJ Samick with 2. There's a lot of shots out there. Jesper Orval with 2, Polino with 1. Emil Orval with 2 also. So we're spreading it around with a lot of shots.
I mean, if you look at the goals by period that the Engineers have, now they've scored 10 in the first period, allowed 19 for the season. And then in the second period, 7-7 with the opponents. And in the third period, RPI is outscoring the opposition 12-11. So really the first period is the only reason, you could look at why the Engineers are 2-5-3. Also throw in the game they lost in the final second of overtime at Niagara. They'd have another tie in there. So they're less than a second away from 4 ties. But that first period has really been the bugaboo. They'll look to try and correct things here in the second. We're about to get underway with this second period from the Houston Fieldhouse. It's RPI and number 4 Notre Dame. Center ice draw. We are 5-on-5 to start the second. Chopped along by Whiffen into the skates of Victor Liljegren, who shoots it in. Liljegren has points in only 2 games this year, as there's a big hit and a penalty coming up. They're going to get Troy York for hitting from behind. And Jake Evans, the captain for Notre Dame, over to have a discussion. And that's just really a tough play. And I think York knew it as soon as he did it there. A lot of times you go in for a hit and you realize it's the guy's back and you still follow through. Now, slow to get up here is Dennis Gilbert. And York's headed to the box. We'll see if it's 2 or 5.
Yeah, like you said, I think York definitely realized it right away. He kind of let off right after the guy in Notre Dame fell down. And the guy in Notre Dame is taking a slow time to get up. Trainers out there helping him out. But this is definitely a tough penalty starting off the period like this.
Yeah, and he sees his numbers and he still follows through. And that's the problem there. My guess is he'll get 5, but we will see. He was away from the boards a little bit, which helps the player, helps Gilbert, because you don't run out of room there.
Right.
He had room to fall forward onto the ice. But at the same time, as you folks on RPI TV and our simulcast get a look at the Chicago Blackhawks draft choice and defenseman Dennis Gilbert from Buffalo, so I'm sure he has some family here. Second on the team is Gilbert. It's a 5-minute major. And the game, I know we're early in the second, Haley, but the game kind of sits in the balance here. If RPI can kill this off, it's still a pretty good shot, but if they give up a goal or even 2 on this power play, it'll be a tough night. So this is a big spot for this RPI team early in this game and really early in the season.
Right, exactly. If we can definitely keep our penalty kill under control, make sure we clear the puck, do your job and everything, we could definitely pretend this sort of didn't happen in a way, and then we can bounce back. But if they do, like you said, capitalize on this penalty kill, Notre Dame, with their power play, it would be a bit of a momentum changer.
Just a 5-minute major, though. York stays in the game, and that's an important note as well.
Right.
No game misconduct for the freshman from Plano, Texas, who's had a good start to his freshman season. York with 7 points in 9 games. But a big penalty kill coming up here for RPI, of course, a non-releasable major penalty. Shot comes through, saved by Marshall. Rebound poked away. Second power play chance for the Fighting Irish. They're 0 for 1. Their first power play was cut short when the Irish took a penalty on that man advantage. Here's a wrister through traffic. Save made by Marshall off his glove. Played to the far side and kept in. Gross down low. Looking to center with it there is Malmquist. Nice saucer pass across for Hellickson. Back to the blue line, Gross. This is good puck movement here from the Fighting Irish down low. Burke pulls it back out. Near side corner. That's Ogilvie. Ogilvie gets it back top of the circle. Down low to Burke again. Looking for a centering pass. Ogilvie a shot. Pad save made by Marshall. Good shielding of the puck there by Grant, but he can't clear the zone. Gross up the wall for Ogilvie again. Top of the circle. Looking to feed it down low. Diving poke check by Grant to deny that opportunity. Burke into the middle. Tierney throws a slash into Malmquist. He forces the puck back out wide. 1 minute into the power play for Notre Dame, a 5-minute major. Backdoor feed, good stick by Grant to break it up. Not sure if it was on goal anyway. And now another good stick from Tommy Grant to break up that centering feed. Gross across. Gets it back, top of the circle. Gross moves center blue line. Wrister, that one hit the boot of Grant. But again, the Engineers can't clear. Looking to try and get a change here if they can. This group's been out there the whole time. Now another pass across and a risky one for the Fighting Irish. And it's broken up and sent out of the zone. RPI with a much-needed change on the penalty kill. 2 minutes into the second period, 2-0 Notre Dame. As it's moved into the zone by Nardella, he's knocked down by Whiffen. Riley trying to backhand it ahead. Whiffen clears it down the ice. Had a man breaking. Hayhurst elected not to play him and just take the safe route and clear it down. Andrew Peak picks it up for Notre Dame. And he'll skate it ahead. 2 minutes gone on the major penalty. Nardella will shoot it in. Marshall can't slow it up. It spins to the far side. In the corner, dug out by Notre Dame. Back to the point to a glove to play was Peak. Far side now, new group out there for the Fighting Irish as well. It's Nardella, the top power play point getter for Notre Dame with 7. Across it goes, indirect off the end wall from Tyson. Near side, Engineers converge. Whiffen trying to break it up. Away from Cook and all the way down the ice. Make that Evans, rather. RPI separating Evans from the puck and clearing. 3 minutes into the period now. And a little over 2:10 left on the major penalty. Notre Dame into the zone far side. Malmquist dumps it in. Tommy Grant runs into his man in the corner. That's Wegworth. To the point now. Wrister. Save. Rebound loose and thrown in the middle of the ice by Reisinger. Here's Gross now. Far side connection. Backdoor feed. That one fired high. Ogilvie. That puck didn't sit for him. And now Gross again. Far side circle. Malmquist's pass broken up by Prapavesis. Chop far side by Wegworth again. Wegworth trying to drive it out in front. Save made by Marshall. Gross picks it up. Backhand sweeping miss. And it's played towards the point. That left the zone. Certainly did. Offside here on Notre Dame. 1:29 to go in this major penalty, Haley. RPI doing a pretty good job keeping everything to the outside here on this penalty kill.
Yeah, Notre Dame didn't have too many good opportunities there. They had 1 or 2 good opportunities, but Lyndon Marshall standing strong in the net, came across the net and saved that really well. RPI definitely had a great penalty kill there. They cleared the zone when they needed to. Like you said, they kept everything to the outside, and it was a solid penalty kill for sure.
Well, still another minute and a half on it, so not out of the woods yet, but a good start, a good middle, I guess you should say, to this penalty kill. Now a tie-up by Wilson. A couple folks, including myself, looked around for potential maybe a hook there, but nothing called. Engineers clear it down. Andrew Peak back to pick it up. The sophomore from Parkland, Florida, leads the team with 28 blocked shots, and he gave it away. Good read by Tyrannese. Tyrannese all by himself, shorthanded, lines up for a slap shot, pulls it back down, takes a wrister, and a save made by Morris, who wants to play and send the puck back the other direction. Here they come. Evans on the move, down the middle, pulls up at the near point. Jake Evans scored the first Fighting Irish goal. Tried to play it up the wall. It was broken up by Riley. Evans again into the middle of the ice. Tyson, a shot, skips through the legs of Wilson to the far side. 43 seconds to go on this major penalty. Trying to walk it out in front. Good tie up there. Trying to kick it to himself. Tierney's couldn't corral. Peak far side. Walking in a wrister. Saved by Marshall. And the rebound is pushed wide again by Morrison. Now another shot and a stick save by Marshall. Kept at the near point nicely by Andrew Peak. Now a shot and a save on the right pad. Puck trickles to the near corner. Gathered there again by the Fighting Irish. Evans to the point. Peak far side. 15 to go in the power play. Tipped over the top of the net by Tyson. Back down the middle, out of the zone. Peak couldn't corral it. To the applause here of the Engineers faithful. As there's 5 seconds to go in this major. Evans in all by himself with his teammates changing. His shot was blocked by Wilson. Out of the box is York, and the Engineers kill off the 5-minute major. Still 2-0 Notre Dame. York near side of his own zone ahead for Whiffen. Whiffen to center ice on the move. Chips it to the far corner. He'll try and chase it down. Beats Dallow to the puck. He's tied up there. Played behind. Here's Gilbert. Dennis Gilbert on the move through center ice. He'll lob it into the far corner. Mike Prapavessis takes a look around. He'll skate it up the far wall where it's poked away. Whiffen trying to lob it over a fallen Prapavessis, and now we get a whistle and a hand pass will stop play. 14-14 to go in the second. Haley, a big kill of that 5-minute major, keeping this a 2-goal game.
Yeah, that was a huge kill, so if that doesn't get them excited, I don't know what will. That and the crowd cheering, everything. There's a lot of noise made in the rink after the penalty was killed off. So now we're back to full strength. We're still out shooting them by 1 goal, 17 versus 16 shots. So a few more shots here with the even strength, we can definitely pop one in.
Engineers have spent the majority of this period obviously killing a penalty.
Right.
They've only been even for less than a minute seemingly. And RPI wins the defensive zone draw, and it's Victor Lildgren moving to center. Lildgren chips it around one man. He'll pick it up in the corner, trying to center, hit the base of the net. Caroms around to the near side. Tommy Grant pinching in. He went down, but does keep the play alive in the offensive zone. And now Prapavessis is pinching on the other side. Very aggressive from the RPI defenseman here. Trying to keep the puck alive in the offensive zone, but it's finally skated out by Notre Dame. Tommy Grant did enough to knock his man off the puck. Now a centering pass off of Marshall. He gets knocked into the net. But I think he kept it out anyway, and it was a penalty, I believe. Interference is going to go. Goalie interference on Bo Brower. A little too aggressive for the senior from Medina, Minnesota. He'll go off here, and I think he could have avoided doing what he did, sliding into Marshall. Yeah, I think he could have.
I agree. I think he stayed on the ground a little bit after that play, too. Probably instantly regretting what he had done, but Lyndon Marshall stood strong. Nothing went in.
On second look, it didn't look as bad as in live action, but that's what slow motion will do sometimes. But nonetheless, Bo Brower off for goaltend interference. I believe it's goaltend interference. The scoreboard says interference, but. All right, well, we're not going to hear what Al Shibley has to say on that call because of the fans like to get a little noisy during that part of his announcement. Anyway, power play number 4 for RPI. Wilson, a shot through traffic, hit a body, deflects to the corner. Polino, although not very big, was provided a pretty solid screen in front. Now Burgess into the slot for Whiffen, back up top for Wilson. Jared Wilson lines one up, no. Across, gets it back. Jared Wilson, center blue line, wrister. That one hit a body, Whiffen. Had a crack at it, but slapped it to the far wall. And now a chance to break shorthanded for Notre Dame. 1-on-1 into the zone. It's going to be Jenkins who just lost it there. Engineers send it back the other way where it's corralled by Gilbert. Good to see Dennis Gilbert back on the ice. Remember, he was the one who took that hit. And now a shot all the way down on goal will be held onto by Marshall. Puck came from the defensive zone for Notre Dame. But good to see Dennis Gilbert. He took that hit that turned into the 5-minute major on York, but he's back out there skating around. Looks to be okay.
Yeah, good. So that York didn't cause too much damage out there. But so now we're back in our defensive zone. After clearing it out, it came right back, but Lyndon Marshall still strong, saved it. And we're here to get it clear the zone.
Face off in the RPI zone coming up. Centerman Evans got tossed from the dot, but winning the draw anyway. Where the Fighting Irish was Steves. And now it'll be worked on to center. Excuse me, make that Dawson Cook who won the draw. Engineers move it in offside. To the chagrin of the RPI fans, you are listening to live coverage of RPI Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy, Perry Lascaris and Haley Miller from the Houston Fieldhouse. 2-0 Notre Dame with 12:44 left in the second period. Center ice draw coming here. Shots are now 18-17 Notre Dame. A statistic that the Engineers had led to the entire game until more recently here. That 5-minute major had something to do with that. Here's Emil Orval down low for Liljegren. Behind the net. Saucer pass near side circle. Hayhurst still 40 seconds on the power play. Hayhurst walking in. Pulls it back. Takes a shot save. And a good handle of that rebound for Morris. There were Engineers lurking. But he made the stop, froze, and was able to find it before Orval or Liljegren could.
Yeah, that was a great setup by RPI here. And it was a great shot. It was a good opportunity. And well, like you said, Cal Morris, great save. It's going to be hard to get past him, but if we make the right passes and take him by surprise, we could definitely knock one in the back of the net.
Yeah, his numbers have been good. He just has one shutout through 8 games, but .935 save percentage tells you all you need to know about how he keeps pucks out of the zone and a little bit about his rebound control as well. Down low, Burgess gets it back. Up top for Wilson. And now Matt Harris, top of the near circle. Wilson again. Far side, Burgess. 23 seconds to go on RPI's power play, their 4th of the game. Harris back up top for Wilson. Far side, one-timer, a save made. And it's cleared out. That was Burgess from the far circle. Stepped into one, and it was kept out. And cleared by Notre Dame. They'll change their penalty killers. 5 to go on this power play. Brower about to head out of the box, and now he is. And the penalty's over. Engineers still on the move, whiffing in deep. Gets spun around, lost the puck. Hellickson gets hit there by Burgess. Hellickson up the wall. Trying to recover was Polino, but it's carried on further. Cal Burke into the zone, trying to make a move, and he played a little bit too far out in front of him, lost his stick, and was knocked down by Harris as Marshall covered. 11:24 on the clock, second period, 2-0. Notre Dame leads.
And now we're back to even strength, so let's see what RPI can do here. Linden right there had a good grab out. Notre Dame could have easily taken that back, but defensive coverage got him a little tied up, and then Linden made the grab.
It looked like I thought Harris knocked him down, but Burke just lost an edge there, it looked like, behind the goal. Engineers win the defensive zone draw, and they clear it to center, lobbed right back in. Tommy Grant will glove that down and head back the other way. Tommy Grant in, finds Tyrannese, looking for a far side feed right through Jesper Orval, just couldn't reach it. He picks it up on the other side, trying to settle. Richards trying to glove it down. It'll be corralled here by Orval. Cross ice feed broken up. Grant knocks it down, keeps it in the zone for a moment, but now it's skated to center by Ogilvie. Into the RPI end, stops at the half wall. Drop pass there, Dello Arister saved by Marshall into the netting, and we'll have another stoppage. Shots are now 20-19 in favor of the visitors from South Bend.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, second period is usually where we kind of even out with the goals against our opponents. So halfway through the period, let's see if we can knock one in the back of the net and get the momentum going our way.
Shot right off the draw, and a save by Marshall. Tyson looking for goal number 5, but he was denied there as Marshall went right to left to make that stop.
And here we're changing. I think we need to tie up a little bit better on the draw. That shot probably should not have gotten off if we had tied up a little bit more.
Face off in the RPI end once more to the right of Marshall. Making just his 3rd start of the year, but he is undefeated on the season, Marshall, 1-0-1. Picked up the win against RIT, and he was the one who was in net for RPI's tie against St. Lawrence. And puck tapped to center, but chance to break here. Samek was out in front of him, farther than I thought. He'll try and chase it down anyway, goes down hard in the corner. York keeping it alive over there. And now Troy York behind the RPI goal, centering pass out in front for Whiffin. And that one played far side, penalty coming up here. Who is it going to be on? I think it's on Notre Dame. Puck behind the goal, and we get a touch. And it was good hustle there. It's going to be, what's it going to be? A hook?
I couldn't really tell. It looked like both of us touched it.
Well, it's a delayed, yeah, it's definitely on Notre Dame. Our referee on the far side, I believe that's Chip McDonald, who was very delayed in his call. It was. Chip McDonald makes the call. His refereeing partner tonight is Brian Hicks. The linesmen are Pavel Colson and Orion Knapp. But RPI will get its 5th power play here.
Seems like we're having a lot of power plays tonight. But
Right.
we're not really capitalizing on them like we should be, however.
And they're getting the Engineers opportunities. We'll see if they are able to here.
Right.
5th try for RPI, not halfway through this game. Engineers win the draw. Back to the point. Some room here for Riley to walk in. Riley, shot, save, rebound pops free. Loose to Prapavesis. He'll take a shot, ramps up the stick of Burke. And out of play, but a lot of room for Riley. He waited, you see, he waited a little bit there for someone to provide a little more of a screen. There was no one in front of the netminder there. So he waited for someone to slide in front, took the shot. Unlucky for the Engineers, weren't able to find the rebound.
Right, looked like there was a bit of an extra stick handle, which caused them to miss the shot a little bit.
Here is Orval, a shot hit a leg. That was Emil Orval, and then it's popped out to center for Prapavesis to carry. Out of his own zone, Mike Prapavesis, former Toronto Patriot, moves it in. Orval, stick handling at the point, lost it. Now he's surrounded, double teamed here, right in front of the RPI bench at neutral ice. Flipped in deep by Jenkins on the kill. RPI will reset, minute 20 to go on the power play. Their 5th of the night. Notre Dame is 0-4-2. As it's Hayhurst stick handling down the middle of the ice, lost it, and now a chance to break. 2-on-2 into the zone. Cook's shot's blocked by Wilson, who leads RPI in that department. And now Liljegren plays it behind. And RPI can restart there. Jared Wilson, senior from Calgary, Alberta, former Vernon Viper of the BCHL. As it'll be Wilson to play from behind the goal. On for Todd Burgess. Burgess into the zone. Using that long reach to skate around a couple. Spins around in the circle. He'll feed it to the point for Wilson. Wilson's center blue line, near side, Harris. Matt Harris. Across for Wilson. Far side Burgess thought about a one-timer again. This time he elects to pass down low. Polino back to Burgess. Wrister off a leg. That one hit Whiffen on its way through. And good back check there. Harris got right back into position to win that puck back. And the Engineers move it right back in on the offensive attack here. Hellickson tied up behind the goal. 11 seconds to go on the RPI power play. Picked up and not cleared. Knocked down over there by Polino. Maybe one more crack here, although it'll be the Fighting Irish to jump on in the corner. Hellickson, now Whiffen steals it away. Whiffen behind the goal. Out of the box is Gilbert. And back to even. RPI 0 for 4 on the power play. Polino. Stick handling near side of the offensive zone. All the way back to the blue line with it. Cross ice feed broken up by the reach of Evans. And now Polino gets knocked down at center. Somehow alive to keep it alive for... Able to keep it alive, I should say, for Riley. That one hits the scoreboard. No, it didn't. I thought it was going to. But we, of course, play on. And it's chipped in by the Engineers. They'll try and chase. Dello far side for Hellickson. Good forecheck pressure from Richards. And he steals it away. Connection down low for Tierney's. Indirect off the wall to the point. Samek a drive and a glove save by Morris. And Samek stepped into that one. He's looking for his first collegiate goal. He had an assist last year in 14 games. But that time he cranked one up from the blue line, but he was gloved by Morris. Not sure how he saw that through all the traffic.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic in there, and that whole opportunity stemmed from the hard work on the boards, keeping the puck in play and not letting Notre Dame keep the possession of the puck. Rather, we got possession of the puck, played it up to the top point, and got the one-timer, which Morris was definitely not expecting. With the glove save, it looked like to be a bit of a panic.
7:30 to go in the second period. RPI women's hockey's in action this weekend. They host New Hampshire for a 2-game series, non-league, of course, tomorrow at 3 and Sunday at 2. Those games not on the radio, but you can watch them on RPI TV. Of course, a good number of the folks listening here are watching on the simulcast going on RPI TV. From wherever you are, we certainly thank you for listening and or watching. It's a fun night here. The Engineers are playing pretty well against one of the best teams in the country, so you have to be pretty happy with how things have gone. Of course, down 2-0, but take nothing away from how the Engineers have played. They're tied in shots after having killed off a full 5-minute major as well. Yeah,
for sure. RPI is definitely showing our strength here, and like you said, against the 4th-ranked team, we are definitely holding strong, and no matter the score, we're looking strong out there, and we're making some good plays. We're getting opportunities out there, and like you said, we are even on shots.
But nice to see the Engineers get rewarded with a goal, but of course that takes work, and right now Cale Morris has been on top of his game. Tyrannies trying to lob it around Malmquist. That's broken up, and now coming back the other way is Ogilvie. Spins it back to the point. Good gather there. Oh, offside. Bobby Nardella coming off the bench, the junior from Rosemont, Illinois. Could not quite keep it in. It was a good effort, nonetheless.
It was. It hit a little bit of a weird bounce, went up into his pads, but nonetheless offside, so we're here to settle down.
Folks watching, going to look at Dave Smith in his first season with the Engineers after 12 years at Canisius.
Out in Buffalo.
Out in Haley's neck of the woods. Buffalo way. Rung far side. Reisinger chips it out all the way down. This could be icing here on RPI, and it will be. 6:59 to play in the second period. 2-0 Notre Dame. Both goals coming back in the first period.
A little bit too strong of a wraparound. I saw what he was trying to do, trying to clear the zone, get it out, but a little bit too much strength behind that puck, trying to clear it, and unlucky, just going all the way down.
There are some ECAC hockey games going on, but as we're back to action with Max Reisinger carrying the sophomore from Walding, Austria, plays it around one man, and does a nice job to work around him to get on the other side of him, although he's tied up, and now the Fighting Irish are back the other way on the dump. Will this be icing? TJ Samek has to use his speed, and does. He beats Steves down ice. And an icing here on Notre Dame.
Game's slowing down a little bit with a lot of icing, but now we're back in Notre Dame zone, so let's set it up. And now that the game has slowed down, we have some fresh legs out there, and we could definitely capitalize on keeping control of the puck.
Puck played behind the goal. Nardella shoots it near side. To center, Tommy Grant will try and play it right back in. It's broken up, and now here's Dello. Far side, tipped in deep, penalty coming up. Orval was upended away from the puck. Who are they going to get?
It looked like...
Another penalty on Notre Dame.
Yeah, it looked like number 27, Nardella on Notre Dame. It looked like he just kind of got a little bit too much out of his stick.
Well, whether they got the right guy or not, it's going to be Matt Steves going off. But nonetheless, it's a penalty on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And it will provide RPI with its sixth power play. And again, a chance to convert here for RPI and try to make it a one-goal game.
Again with another power play. And so far our power plays have been looking strong. We keep control and we could definitely get shots out there.
Face off in the Notre Dame zone off the penalty call. Engineers win it back to the point. Gathered in by Wilson. Far side, bouncing puck. Burgess has a little bit of trouble with it, but he does find Wilson again at the far point. Up the wall for Burgess again. Todd Burgess, centering pass, Whiffen. Back to Burgess, back up top to Wilson. Wilson has that big shot, looking to set it up here. A drive and a blocker save by Morris. He just saw that in time. Now Burgess again, top of the circle. Down low, jam try, loose out in front. It's swept away to the near corner, pinching in Harris. Now Wilson trying to keep it alive at the blue line. No, it pops to center and goes rolling down into RPI territory. 5:55 to go in the second. 2-0 Notre Dame leads. Here's Wilson for RPI. A couple of goals on the year for Jared Wilson, after he led all Division I defensemen in goals last season with 11. And that one skips over his stick out to center. It was a rolling, bouncing puck, and he just couldn't corral it. He'll set it down his own blue line, near side Burgess. Minute 4 to go on the RPI power play. Burgess stick handling in, went down, and then gets roughed up after the fact there by Dello. Good move to get free by Burke. He'll try the near side boards. There's a man breaking, and he finds him with the aerial pass. That's Jenkins shorthanded, although he can't control after that. And Riley will pick it up for RPI. A couple more, another rush into the zone here for RPI on the power play. Liljegren trying to drive in. Good poke check there. It was a trailing stick by one of the defensemen. Couldn't quite see who it was. Oh, it was Peak. Broke up the chance there for Liljegren. Now across ice feed, a dangerous one for Hayhurst. He gives it away, and now a 2-on-1 shorthanded. Cook in far side. Centering pass, and it's Hayhurst who in the end breaks it up. He was the one who gave that puck away. But he got back in time to deny a chance for the Fighting Irish. 12 seconds to go on the power play. And the Engineers, I believe, are offside. They are. And there's a whistle. 6 seconds to go on the Engineers' sixth power play. Looks like it will become fruitless once again. 4:35 to play in the second, still 2-0 Notre Dame.
Yeah, and one big thing I'm noticing on our power play is we're unsuccessful when we're trying to skate it down in the middle of the zone. There's always the most traffic right in the middle on the blue line, but for whatever reason, we keep trying to force it that way. And then the few times that we try going to the outside, it's a little more successful. We get in it deep and keep it in there.
Engineers will try to find out what they can be more successful in the power play, but it's, again, it is a process in the season-long one, I'm sure. Puck behind the goal. Evans trying to center. Comes all the way through to the point. Now a shot coming. Not clean off the stick of Nardella. Kind of just fluttered high and wide. He didn't quite get all of it. Now Troy York along the near wall. Gave it away. Morrison trying to walk in. His shot was blocked by the leg of Samick. Kept in by Nardello. Spinning away, Cam Morrison trying to center there. Pops free to the point. Here's Hellickson. Matt Hellickson, just work it down low. Behind the goal, Samick with a good hit. And now a penalty coming up. They're going to get Samick for a hold. Off goes Morris. Delayed penalty here. York gets a touch. And it's the same play we saw from John Richards. Remember back in the, might have been this period.
With the little extra push at the end of the hit.
Yeah, it was a hit and then a little something extra from Samick. They call it a hold, but I guess it could have been interference, whatever you want to call it. It impedes the player's attempt to go get the puck. So
right.
That's what they're calling on Samick here.
Nonetheless, 2 minutes on a penalty kill now for the Engineers. We are starting off in our zone. So the last penalty kill with the 5 minutes against York, we definitely held strong. And if we play the right moves, we can definitely keep it out of the net.
Right, well, this is almost as big now as a shot comes in from the point, hit a skate, and now Whiffen shorthanded. He'll lob it to center and all the way down. He'll chase after it, but Hellickson will beat him to it. This penalty kill, I guess it's almost as big as the 5-minute major now that the Engineers have killed it, of course. But that 5-minute major penalty the RPI killed, have to look at that as a bright spot in this period. Still unable to score, but still just a 2-goal game. Puck comes trickling in on Marshall. And with some Fighting Irish skating into the zone, he'll cover up. 3:23 on the clock in the second. Minute 38 on the Samick penalty. Just the third power play for Notre Dame, but that includes the major that occurred at the very beginning of this second period. Whiffen to take the draw here against Andrew Ogilvie. Ogilvie, a junior from Fullerton, California. Whiffen, a junior from St. Mary's. As a puck comes free to Gross at the point. Touch pass far side by Ogilvie. Back to the middle of the ice. Intercepted by Tierney's. And he'll actually just backhand it out of the zone. Rolling puck will be gathered in by Hellickson. And Notre Dame will start over from behind their own goal. It'll be assistant captain Jordan Gross. Into the RPI zone and near side for Hellickson. Down low. Indirect off the far wall. Karams all the way around. Where it's picked up there. Shot right back in. Far side. That's Wegworth. And now Ogilvie. To Gross at the point. Through traffic. Glove saved by Marshall. Popped out of his glove, and he's able to pin it against his pad. As to not allow Wegworth in front. He was looking for a rebound. The 6'3", 225-pound Joe Wegworth on the fourth line. Already 4 points on the year in 7 games for him.
Yeah.
He's looking for a rebound.
Yeah, exactly. And one great thing is we're still keeping the shots to the outside and not allowing those rebounds to get in. So keeping the shots to the outside, tying the men up in front, and making the rebounds impossible to even try to get is what we're being really successful at tonight.
Face off here to the right of Marshall, and the top draw man out there, 60.1% coming into the night, Jake Evans. The senior captain, who's had a mark in this game already, scored the second goal. Excuse me, scored the first goal of this game for Notre Dame. Won't score from any closer to the goal line this year. Notre Dame has it near side. Moving in, Nardella will chip in. Good hit on Tyson. Prapavesis couldn't pick the puck out from some skates. Now he will have another chance to clear. And that one hit skates. Couldn't get it out. Here's Evans, far side circle. Waiting, back to the point. Near point, Nardella. Back across for Peak. Far side circle. 10 seconds to go on the power play. Evans near corner. Near point, Nardella. Shoulder fake. Shot. Glove saved by Marshall. And again, he holds on. Grant and Prapavesis doing a good job of keeping the lanes open for Marshall to see that shot there.
Yeah, and I've noticed that there's a little bit of a Notre Dame guy just trickling around in front, waiting for this right screen, but we always stepped in right at the last minute to clear the front of the net. So maybe Lyndon Marshall would feel a little more at ease if we pushed the guy out of his way, so he'd be very more sure of himself when he's catching that puck from the point.
3 seconds left on the power play, with the draw coming to the near side of the RPI zone. 2-0 Notre Dame, 1:48 to go in the second. And we have, looks like Evan Tierney's tossed from the dot. It'll force Hayhurst into the center circle. Luckily for the Engineers, he's the RPI's best faceoff man at 49.1%. Up against O'Leary, and O'Leary wins it cleanly. Penalty is over. Gross, a slap shot blocked by Hayhurst. Hellickson far side. Broken up there by Tierney's. And they dig away over there. Michael O'Leary battling for it with Tierney's. Gets it back. Next man in on the far side is Jenkins. Now it's Jenkins trying to carry out of a pile. To the point for Hellickson. Up the wall. Twisting and turning Cook. Dawson Cook from Cadillac, Michigan. Hands it off there. Good poke check by Prabhavessis. Engineers have numbers if they hurry. 2-on-1. Hayhurst with a shot that goes wide. He had Burgess with him. Elects to shoot the puck and miss the net. Now Burgess is getting roughed up in the near corner. Coming up on a minute to go in the second period. Bouncing puck kept in by Riley. Riley holding. Wrister through traffic, went wide. At the side of the cage, Hayhurst helps it up the wall for Emil Orval. Blind backhand pass in front. Nobody home except for Gross, who backs out of danger before shooting up the wall. Jenkins connects there to Cook. Notre Dame wants to change. They'll get it here as Cook dumps in. Riley with 40 seconds to go in the period. Up the wall near side. Emil Orval on the move. Orval in, top of the circle. Wrister partially blocked and covered up by Morris. And he will get a whistle with 32.3 to go in the second. Still 2-0 Notre Dame, but RPI's penalty kills look rock solid so far, including, of course, that major penalty earlier.
Right, so we have 32 seconds to try to get a goal in here. Second period, usually we try to score. Well, we always try to score, but we usually score in the second period in comparison to our likelihood in the first period. I don't want to save it to the third period to try to get all the way back.
Well, the Engineers only have 29 seconds of which to work here in the second, but a goal here would be big. Here's Liljegren trying to center. Twisting and turning, he'll fire wide a goal. Still loose in front, actually was on goal. Beg your pardon, and Morris had to make a save. Looked like it was headed wide, but it could have hit something on the way through. There was plenty of bodies in front. There was York and Whiff in there, creating some commotion in front of the Notre Dame net.
Right, a good scramble, good opportunity. We've had a few of those tonight. So if we keep getting shots from the point or out wide or whatever and have bodies in front, we're going to get those opportunities, get those rebounds.
20.2 to go in the second. Bouncing puck, top of the circle, swatted at by York, but corralled here by Gilbert. He'll move to center before dumping into the far corner of the RPI end. Prabhavessis run into there with Jenkins. As it comes free, Jenkins back on it, looking to center. He'll spin it up the wall, 3 to go in the period. Helped down low by Burke. Jenkins behind the goal with 1, and that'll do it. Well defense there in the final few seconds, not allowing that puck to get to the net front at all. By RPI, and they will take a 25-23 shot advantage. RPI into the third period despite trailing 2-0. Really have to credit Cale Morris. Personally, I think Morris has been the difference in this game. And the RPI penalty kill on the RPI side of things. But the reason RPI hasn't scored tonight is certainly the play of Morris. He has been superb between the pipes. Yeah,
Cale Morris has definitely held really strong in there. He's had some shots with a lot of scrambles in the front, and he still manages to get his glove on the puck and get the whistles so that RPI doesn't get a handle on the puck. He's letting very few rebounds, which is causing definitely some frustration in front of the net. You can see a little bit of a push back and forth here and there between Notre Dame and us Engineers after the play is over. But Cale Morris is definitely a great asset that Notre Dame has going for them tonight.
And with that, we will step aside, Haley and I will, and be back with our second intermission. It's Haley's interview that she took care of earlier this week. One of our swimming and diving student athletes here at RPI is anyone who follows the swimming diving program here. Shannon O'Brien, the head coach, they do a great job. They're always seem to be winning 80-90% of their dual meets, maybe even higher now. But great student athletes, and as you'll hear, academics is as important, if not more important, to these kids, especially at the D3 level, and as Haley knows as well. Cross country team little shout out to them, headed to nationals tomorrow. A big race for the men and women's team, both qualifying as teams, and a big opportunity, of course, for Grant O'Connor, who's one of the front runners to try,
won regionals and everything,
to try and win the whole thing, and that would be certainly fantastic if Grant were able to pull it off. Anyway, we'll get to our interview in just a moment. Your score, once again, after 2, it's still 2-0 Notre Dame. You're listening to RPI Hockey 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.
Number 11, you're the winner tonight. I'm going to go to Intermission. Thank you for participating in tonight's Delta Runners. Chuck the Puck Contest. Rensselaer would like to thank the Rensselaer Alumni Association, Agro Companies, Madison, Sampson, Ginsburg, and Griffin Law Firm, Bellini's, Counter, Sodexo, C&S Companies, the Hilton Garden Inn in Troy, National Grid Foundation, Turner Construction, the Desmond Hotel, the Recovery Sports Club, E. Stewart Jones, Hacker and Murphy, Stanley Steeman, Stewart's Shops, BSN Sports, Boucher Clark Benefits, Rensselaer Honda, Fryhoff's, Marine Business Systems, CBTA, H2M, Architects and Engineers, and Rose, Kindergarten and Troy, all proud sponsors of RPI. Hudson Mohawk Figure Skating Club is in its 60-year offering to learn to skate classes right here at Eastern Fieldhouse. They take place on Saturday mornings and they're for all ages. For more information, check out the program at hmfsc.org. And the women's hockey team will be in action tomorrow afternoon right here at Houston Fieldhouse. Game time 3 o'clock and they take on the University of New Hampshire.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Enjoy easy takeout from Stewart Shops tonight.
This is coffee. What do you expect? This is what fresh sounds like, looks like, tastes like. Freshly ground, freshly brewed all day, smooth from first sip to last. This is food for you. Dunkin' Donuts. This is coffee.
Mexico is a place of high levels of collaboration.
We are teaching people to think the way we future leaders think.
Science, engineering, arts, humanities, it's that whole spectrum of education.
That out-of-the-box thinking generates truly innovative technologies and also drives science.
This experience beyond just creating great technicians, engineers, and scientists.
I felt after I came in, we were ready to change the world.
Flowers by Vicious fan of the game is in section 5, row E, seat number 7. Planned corporate event was to find someone special with a floral arrangement at Flowers by Vicious. Just steps from the historic Monument Square, Russell Sage, and RPI. Call Flowers by Vicious at 272-1980 or stop in at 177 River Street in downtown Troy. The winner of tonight's autographed RPI flag, 469-5121. 469-5121. The ticket number is 717-125. 717-125. Winner of the autographed RPI flag.
Wow!
RPI 2-0 after 2 periods. Perilous Garris and Haley Miller here on 91.5 FM WRPI. Troy and Haley, Engineers don't really have a lot to complain about as far as the way they've played this year. The coaching staff has to be happy with how this team has come out, especially early in the first period. They killed off a 5-minute major. The one sticking point, the power play, has not been good. They've had some offensive zone time, but haven't turned it into any great scoring opportunities.
Exactly. One great thing I was noticing is that we've had 6 power play opportunities, but we've only had 7 shots. So that's about 1 shot per power play, which is not great, but Notre Dame is really capitalizing on their power plays. They've had 3 power plays and 9 shots. That's an average of 3 shots per power play, and that's definitely what RPI should try to get up to. So in the event that we have another power play, let's try to get more shots.
Get more shots here as we are underway in the third period. Engineers will skate one more time from right to left as it'll be dumped in by the Fighting Irish. Marshall plays it far side. Some room for Tommy Grant to work ahead for Troy York. Touch pass back. Liljegren slaps it in on goal, and it will be held on to by Cal Morris, who has been superb so far. He has stopped all, if they give that a shot, 25 shots he's faced. So we had 25 or 26?
I think that made it 26 if they want to count that a shot.
Might have been headed wide. They probably won't. But again, that's not for us to decide. Other scores out of town. Clarkson leads Colgate 2-1 after 2. Cornell 4-0 over St. Lawrence in Ithaca. Princeton leads Yale 4-2. That's a big one. Quinnipiac 5-0 over Brown. Those are the other ECAC hockey games. Harvard and Minnesota are underway at Mariucci Arena. There's a shot in from center by RPI. It's 2-0 Golden Gophers after 1 there. Everything else is after 2, including those league games that are going on. A couple teams need to catch up to the Engineers' 6 conference games they've played so far. Anyway, into the zone come the Golden Domers as it's shot around. Picked up and played back to the point. Here's Gross. Near point, Dello. His shot was hammered wide. Might have been intentional. Might have been broken up there by Polino. Back into Polino's skates. He'll move it ahead. Cross ice feed too far out in front of Tyrannies. This should be icing. And it will be on RPI. Minute 3 into period number 3. And it is still 2-0 Notre Dame.
Yeah, so that cross ice pass is kind of one of those risky passes, and unfortunately it didn't go our way. If it was tape to tape, it could have definitely been an opportunity for us, a shot on net possibly, but we're back in our zone.
Draw here in the RPI end. One back, shot coming from the point, hits bodies in front. It was Morrison, looked like him, might have hit him sprawling across the ice. Now Morrison's roughed up in the corner by Tierney's, trying to kick it to himself, stolen away by Evans. Now a pass out in front, and a chance for Tyson, but he was bottled up, and that'll leave the ice surface. They're not going to allow the Engineers to change here as they shot it directly out of play. So Evan Tierney's, despite his best efforts, he'll head back to the bench and grab some water. But they're telling him he can't have that either.
Wow.
Chip McDonald says, no water for you. Go back to the circle and take this face off. So not only does he not get a change, he doesn't get a drink either. Tierney's upset, I'm sure, about that. And it's one back. Here is Tyson. Rister through traffic, comes all the way free to the near side. Pushed in deep by Evans. Poke check by Will Riley. He'll turn back towards his own end. Behind the goal, lost it there. Thrown through everybody, picked up by Jesper Orval. Chip it off the boards out to center. Will Riley trying to jump on it here. He pressures Hellickson. And now Gross plays it far side. A chance to break 2-on-1. A 3-on-1 now, and fanning on the pass there was Evans. Had a real chance there for Notre Dame as Will Riley jumped into the play a little bit carelessly that time, and it turned into a potential, well, it was a 3-on-1 that the Fighting Irish could not capitalize on. Now here comes Matt Harris for RPI, freshman defenseman who's playing in his 7th game, has an assist out of Sudbury, Mass. Caroms all the way back out to the RPI end where it's picked up by Harris. Shot across near side for Jared Wilson just off the bench. Wilson high off the glass and out to center ice. Gathered in there by Tori Dello, sophomore from Crystal Lake, Illinois. Stolen away, John Richards tries to lob it into the zone. Engineers are offside. It was Jerry who touches up, and RPI can pressure once more. Dello down the middle. Here's O'Leary into the zone. Stick handling near side circle. O'Leary back to the point for Dello. Dello Arister off the crossbar and out of play.
It almost looked like Lyndon Marshall had no idea where that puck was going, but luckily off the crossbar and back into play.
Yeah, he went down the butterfly expecting a low shot.
Right.
It was a high shot, but luckily for him, it grazed the top of the bar and went off into the netting, and we won't see it again. Have to get a new puck. Draw here, to the left of Marshall. One back by the Fighting Irish. Gross. Shot coming. That one took a deflection on the way through off Jenkins. Kept in far point by Hellickson. Good handoff there. Jenkins trying to wrap around, spinning. He threw it off of Marshall. But it's kept in once more. Hellickson, top of the circle, far side. Back to the near point for Gross. A wrist shot right on. And a save made by Marshall. Again, very calm in net. Lyndon Marshall, the freshman. It's only his 4th ever appearance for these Engineers, but he has hasn't been flailing around. He's been pretty calm between the pipes, and that's something you want from a goaltender.
Right, and Tommy Grant definitely helped out in front right there, clearing the zone, so he had a clear path to see where the puck was coming from, which will definitely help the confidence in knowing where the puck is and being able to stop the puck.
Moving from right to left, Marshall made the save and did not allow a rebound. Draw in the RPI zone, chopped all the way down by Liljegren. Will this have the legs for icing? Yes, it will. And a face-off back to the Engineers' end. 16:49 to play, and Haley, you're on the cross-country team, so I'll ask you, this group that's going out there, it's got to be an exciting time for you in this team with a chance to really perform at the national level.
Exactly, it's really exciting. Everyone's very excited. We actually have one freshman, Aaron Kelly, out there helping out, support the team. And this whole week in preparation and them leaving the other day to fly out to Illinois has been very exciting.
Fantastic. Those races tomorrow at 12 o'clock, the men, and 1:15, the women's race. It's Will Riley at center, turning, tapping it along for Liljegren. Liljegren in, wrister went wide. It was partially deflected there by Peak. And now slapped down low. Through everybody to the near side. Andrew Peak to pick it up there. Tierney's up the wall, breaks it up. Liljegren spinning around to the near corner. Liljegren on the move. They'll look to cycle. Evan Tierney's backhand feed, well read by the Fighting Irish. They were all over it as Tierney's was trying to find York. And now back comes Notre Dame the other way. Pass intended for Burke by Morrison, but Morrison gets it back. Near side pass broken up by Liljegren. Eventually does get to Dello. And now turning with it Burke once more. Cal Burke, not very big, 5'10", 184. He has his 2nd goal tonight. He's battling for it down low. Now shot around to the near side. Dello pinching in. Second effort, lobbed to center by Liljegren. Polino finds it and swats it into the zone. It'll rattle all the way around to the far side. Tierney's is tied up. It's played to center. Harris up the wall. Polino turns back towards his own blue line. Near side, Wilson catches on his backhand, moves into the zone. He'll stop at the point, knocked out of the air. Puck played with a high stick. Will force the face-off into the Notre Dame end. 15:29 to go in the third. RPI still just down 2-0.
One famous play I've noticed that the Engineers find to be a bit of a popular choice is to skate it in wide and then shoot it all, wrap it around all the way around the Notre Dame zone. But it's only truly successful if we have that winger coming up hard and stopping the puck. But like the last play when it was cleared out of the Notre Dame zone, our winger didn't really do their job to stop the puck because it was bobbling. So it's a tough play.
Burgess will shoot it into the far side. Gross there, slaps it past Hayhurst. And now trying to move up the wall, O'Leary stopped there. Finds Gross far side and now moved all the way down. This should be icing here. But now it's play, they wave it off as Marshall plays the puck. And that's a precarious situation because if Marshall doesn't play that puck, he just hops right back into the slot, but the Engineers had won the race down the ice for a potential icing call. So it's kind of you're darned if you do, you're darned if you don't if you're Marshall. If you play that puck, which he did, the smart play, Notre Dame can't play it, but if he lets it go, RPI, it looked like they'd won the race for the icing anyway. I guess it won't matter. They're going to draw this up in the RPI zone. Face-off near side. Shot by Malmquist. I don't know how Marshall saw that one. He was able to blocker it away from the shot from the near side wall. Now Riley back behind the goal. Samick behind the net, tries to skate away from Malmquist, who is pressuring. Good connection to Whiffen, and they're out to center. Whiffen into the zone, drops it back. York a shot, save there, right up into the glove. It's held onto by Morris, and again, not allowing a rebound there. Cale Morris, he's up to 28, I believe, on the shot count, on the save count.
Yep, 28, and the Engineers definitely did a great job of breaking out. When they connect like that, it's really great to see, and then making the right play, getting it wide, and then getting the shot off. But then Morris of course, saving it, but
Turning into a broken record, Morris with the save. But no, draw coming up here in the Notre Dame zone. Far side, and we're going to draw this one again. And Ogilvie is going to get tossed from the dot. So Billy Jerry with a chance to win a face-off here and let the Engineers set up in the offensive end. 14:58 to go in the third. It's still 2-0 Notre Dame. It's kicked at by Jerry. Puck comes free to the corner, clearing effort off the glass, knocked down by Reisinger. Tried to give it back down low, but Jerry was coming back towards him. It'll be picked away by Gilbert. Now near turnover. It is turned over. Jerry, his shot was blocked away. Right back to him in the corner. And now Gilbert picks it up. Moves it up ice from Malmquist. And now Ogilvie on for Peak. He'll dump it in. Both teams changing as Marshall leaves it there. Matt Harris up the near side for Reisinger. Stick handling, lost the puck. Poked away by Harris, or Tyson would have been off and running. As it is, Evans will carry in far side. Jake Evans on the move. Far side circle, stops at the goal line extended. Centering pass all the way through everybody. To the near side, pitching in Nardella. One-time feed, he was looking for Morrison on the back door. A little bit too much mustard on the pass, and now back come the Engineers. Orval making a move, it's poked away by Dello, who handled that play pretty well. Orval trying to lob it back to the point. He goes down. Has to be careful when he puts his stick there. But it's dumped in by the Fighting Irish. Tommy Grant behind his own goal. He'll slow things down. 13:33 to go. RPI down by a couple, trying to find a way to crack through Cal Morris, and that will come trickling in on Morris, and he will cover things up and get a whistle. You know, Haley, if you're a goalie, you usually have some kind of cool design in your helmet. And I'm sure other Notre Dame goaltenders have gone that route, but you see Morris going, interestingly, with the exact same style, the shiny gold helmet. It's an interesting look for a goaltender.
Look. Exactly. It's an interesting look for the goaltender and then the team all around.
Oh, right. That too.
Definitely all around, but it definitely makes a statement in a way.
Might be distracting.
A little bit.
If you look up, if you're a shooter, you look up and you see the shiny gold dome.
Is that where he gets his save percentage from?
It might be that too. Do some research on that. Shot in by Samick. Played to the near side wall. Turning back towards his own zone is Jenkins. And he'll play it behind the net. And now Hellickson near side. Indirect off the wall. O'Leary will track it down and dump it in. Samick left there, but right to Jenkins. And now O'Leary back to the point. Near side, Hellickson, some room. A shot. That one skims along the ice, wide left. Samick throws a hit into his man, and that's Jenkins over there. And now Samick battling for it. Towards the middle of the ice, picked up by Gross. You'll find Hellickson near side point. Hellickson just works it down low for Jenkins. Behind the goal, far side circle. Centering pass, broken up. Shot comes anyway. And a penalty coming up here. It's going to go on Notre Dame again.
Notre Dame definitely hit our...
A cross-check. Right, yeah, you're right. Samick went down. And again, I think this is the third offensive zone penalty for Notre Dame tonight.
Interesting.
Certainly not what you want, of course. And they've been a little bit careless, Fighting Irish have. Luckily for them,
right.
RPI has not been able to take advantage of any of these power plays.
Very true. So let's see what RPI can work here, try to improve. I'm sure they talked in the locker room between plays that that RPI isn't really getting the shots off that they should be on power plays. So let's see what's changed in between periods and see what they have coming at them.
Engineers still out shooting Notre Dame. I mean, you could attribute a little bit to the power plays, but as Haley said before the start of the frame, Engineers only have 7 shots on 6 power plays so far. So the shots are coming from even strength opportunities. Anyway, clearing effort by Notre Dame. Harris knocks it down for a moment. Ogilvie's second try, third try gets it out of the zone. And it'll be Wilson backing up into his zone end. So RPI out shooting Notre Dame, despite that 5-minute major back in the second on Troy York, who did not get a game misconduct. He's still out there. And he's actually on this power play now, and there he is. Troy York into the zone. He gets double-teamed along the wall, and the puck is played out to center. Just not quick enough, really, with that decision once he crossed the blue line. Now, lobbed in by Wilson. He'll try and track it down. Behind the goal. Good tie-up there. Here's Whiffen in the near side. Polino comes out of a scrum. Up top, one-timer Wilson, and a glove save made by Morris. There he is again, getting square to the shot, and Wilson got all of his body behind that one, but a glove save was made.
Yeah, that was a great shot by Wilson, and for as little control as it seemed that the RPI engineers had in the offensive zone. We still got a shot off, which I guess is what counts. But if they had a little more control, maybe they would have a bit of a better opportunity, maybe not just from the point, or maybe they would have had a rebound opportunity in front.
Yeah, Polino did a nice job to win that puck battle and get the puck quickly back to the point. Here's Prapavessis near point. He'll carry it down low. Back up top, here's Will Riley. Across, a shot from Orval. That one's blocked, and the man is down. It's Dello. Slow to his feet, but he got in front of that one, sacrificing for the team there. Prapavessis, near side wall. Up top, Riley, a wrister. Looking for the deflection from Liljegren. Didn't get it, and the glove save was made by Morris, who holds on. 11:20 to go in the third period. 52 seconds on the power play. Still 2-0 Notre Dame.
Right, and we went up from 28 shots to 30 shots on this power play, so 2 shots in the power play. That's great. Halfway through their penalty kill, so let's get some more shots out there.
Face-off coming to the left of Morris, who's been perfect through 30 shots today. Poked to center by Cook. And now Riley twisting and turning in the neutral zone to get away from the forecheck pressure of Dawson Cook. Near side connection, Emil Orval will ring it in. Slowed up behind the goal by Morris, who plays it far side. Kicked at by Liljegren in the corner. Shoveled behind the goal for Orval. Pops off his stick. Good strength by Emil Orval to stay on the puck. Up the wall for Hayhurst. Hayhurst waiting. Up top, Riley. One-timer. Saved by Morris, and he holds on again. Pinned against the chest protector. Again, Liljegren lurking in front, trying to provide that screen. And it's something they work on quite a bit in practice. That screenshot from the point, and Liljegren just not able to do quite enough to distract the netminder and even allowing a rebound there.
Right, exactly. And Notre Dame's defense is really doing a great job of clearing the front of the zone, or clearing the front of the net. So as much as the engineers are getting in front of the way and Morris is making those saves, Notre Dame's clearing the front.
Puck far side, Cook slaps it back, and it's swatted all the way down. Good teamwork on the PK as Dennis Gilbert works it down ice. Engineers will restart again. 11 seconds to go on their 7th power play. Prapavessis in on the dump in. Around to the far side, they let it run. Picked up there by Riley. Lost it on the stick handle, loosened the top of the zone. Diving poke check made by Hayhurst, but it left the zone, so RPI has to touch up. They'll actually make changes. Notre Dame trying to catch him on the breakers. Burke, and he couldn't corral the pass, or he would have been in one-on-one. Although in tight quarters with Marshall, just couldn't handle that pass. That came from Nardella. Now Orval, that's Jesper to center. Knocked down there. Here's Burke again. Burke played it up the near wall. Off for Malmquist. Slap to the far side. Waiting for it off the glass is Ogilvie. Now Burke again. Trying to walk it out in front. A shot that goes wide. It was tangled up with a couple of engineers. Now Nardella far side. Worked in deep by Hellickson. We're halfway through, a little over halfway through this third period. 2-0 Notre Dame with the lead. Evan Tierney's. Junior from Qualcomm Beach, BC. Can't clear it out far side. There's a big hit over there. Penalty coming up on RPI. Hellickson. He'll work it down low. Extra attacker on the delayed penalty. Far side, Ogilvie. To the point, Nardella. Near side, one-timer off the crossbar and out. Oh, it's a goal.
That was an unstoppable shot right there.
That one, they say, hit the back bar. It was absolutely walloped by Hellickson. And if it is a goal, which it looks to be, it's his first collegiate goal for the freshman from Rogers, Minnesota. And that puck was cranked.
That was a solid connection on the puck.
It very well might have hit that back bar. The referee had a good look at it on the far side. They're going to look at this, of course, and so we'll get a chance to look at this a number of times. Well, I don't know. And there goes our video feed. I don't know about this. No, it's off the crossbar. That's going to be no goal.
Wow.
Hit the crossbar and out. Absolutely. No, it's a pretty easy look from the top-down look. Folks watching at home have an easy call here. So luckily for the engineers, as it goes away. Luckily for the engineers, this is not going to stand.
That surprisingly did not make that big of a ring.
I thought it did too. You know what? From the sound of it, I thought it was off the crossbar, but how adamantly the referee on the far side was pointing.
Right.
I thought, well, he's got a great angle. But they're going to be unhappy with themselves on this call, although a split-second decision like that. That's why they have replay
Exactly.
for plays just like this, and this will be a 2-0 game still and a break for RPI. As here's another look at it for us and for the RPI TV folks. It hit off the intersection. Well, no, just the crossbar straight. About 3 or 4 inches from the right post off the crossbar. And so I'm not sure why they're still looking at this, to be honest. This should have been the fastest replay in hockey history, but I don't know why they're still looking at it.
Maybe the ref, who was very adamant about it, thought, no, it went in.
Still arguing facts here. You can't argue facts.
Right.
No goal.
That was pretty decisive if you watch the replay.
I say you can't argue facts, but that hasn't stopped some people.
Right.
Anyway, 9:23 to go in the third period.
We all know how willing refs are to recall their calls.
Exactly. But Haley, you could have seen that in one replay of the shot, right?
Right, exactly. That was pretty decisive.
I'm not sure how many times they looked at it, but
maybe they were having trouble with their video feed too.
That's a good point. Ours is pretty good. RPI TV obviously doing a fantastic job, as always. Jason Lee, the president, and his crew. Fantastic looks from all around. Of course, that, as Haley said, that top-down look was decisive, and we got that call. So still, the penalty comes anyway. It was on a delayed call, so kind of a double break there for RPI. The penalty still would have stood, even if that went in.
Right.
But as is the case, it's a 2-0 game, and Engineers will go on the kill for the 4th time. Puck behind the net for Notre Dame, and they'll look to break out. Jordan Gross. Ogilvie, far side. Into the zone on the dump is Tyson. Clearing effort, hit the skate of Burke. Stayed in the zone, although it's behind the goal. Picked up by Will Riley. He'll fly it down the middle of the ice on goal. Easily sticked away by Cale Morris, and the shouts of nice save, Civ, don't ring quite as neatly here in a game where Morris has been so superb. But Ogilvie will move it into the zone anyway. Near side. Blind backhand pass down low. Race for the puck, and a penalty coming up. Tommy Grant was upended. And they're going to get both of them. Tommy Grant's going to go for diving. And they're going to get Tyson for the hold and the trip. And I can see it for sure. It looked like Grant sold it a little bit. And the RPI fans certainly aren't going to like the call.
No, they definitely will not like that. So.
And we get another look at it here, Haley, but it looked like he was definitely held.
He was definitely held. But the theatrical part of it,
right?
Definitely
That's what I saw it too. I can't disagree. If you're Grant, you just try to skate through that.
Right.
And if you go down, you're going to get the holding call.
Then he'll draw a penalty, exactly.
Right. But you could see the little bit of extra, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the folks listening at home couldn't have seen it. But take our word for it. It was a decent flop there from Tommy Grant. Anyway, on the downside here, RPI stays on the kill, and it's of the, still 5-on-4. So it'll be matching minors here.
Right. But one great thing to point out about the Engineers is that on all the penalty kills, there's not been a goal scored against us yet. The 2 goals Notre Dame has against the Engineers have been full-strength goals. So the Engineers have a strong penalty kill, as we saw with the 5-minute major. So hopefully we keep the Engineers keep that momentum going.
Well, they're going to have to fix this penalty clock now. There should be 1:06 left on the kill for RPI. On the penalty to Orval. They're not even putting the other 2 penalties on the board, of course, because they were matching. So it'll be 5-on-4 hockey. For this 1:06, barring a Notre Dame goal, which they nearly had. 8:29 to play in the third. 2-0 Notre Dame leads. Of course, these 2 teams are back at it tomorrow at 7 o'clock. We do have a WRPI Sports broadcast. In between, it's the Engineers football team taking on Wesley College at noon down in Delaware. First time the Engineers have made the postseason since 2007. And just the 4th time in school history that RPI has played in postseason play. So want to wish good luck to Coach Isernia and all the assistants as well as the cross-country team who's already down in Illinois, and they've already run their
Right.
They're
pre-meet, everything.
Everything, right? They're ready to go for tomorrow. So it'll be an exciting Saturday. Maybe not here in Troy, but maybe here in Troy, of course, for the 2 hockey games going down, but also elsewhere. NCAA play is always exciting.
Right. The Engineers are representing everywhere.
Absolutely. Here's a draw here. 1 back to Gross. Notre Dame on the power play for another minute and change. Slap behind the goal by Wilson. A chance to clear, and he does all the way down the ice. Stopping it behind the goal is Cale Morris. 31 saves on the evening. Back comes Gross. Drop pass at center. Ogilvy, far side. Picking it up and dropping it off there was Nardella. Down low. Trying to drop it back. A shot coming. It's blocked. Near side. They score. Bobby Nardella made the initial pass on the far side of the net, worked his way all the way to the near side, and he picks up goal number 4 on the year. Makes it 3-0, and it is a power play goal with 33 seconds left on that man advantage. And so they do finally get that 3rd goal.
Yeah, and that's a bit of an unfortunate goal, having the last one been called off and everything. But that was also, as much as it was a breakdown in our zone with the penalty kill going on, Lyndon Marshall couldn't really do much more. He lost the stick in there, and he was stretched thin across that crease.
The top-down view for us will get us a real good look at this. And trying to go right to left was Marshall, and that one just squeaked in off the post and off his back and in. That is unfortunate, because really he had the shot covered. Marshall did. Just caught the post. And so some unlucky posts early for Notre Dame, and they turned into some lucky pipe play as this game went on. Remember the one that hit the crossbar and went out, and then a couple of them, 2 of them in fact, that did that. But now off the post and in. There's a shot deflected over the top by Gilbert. So it's 3-0 Notre Dame here. They score on the power play. They're now 1 for 4 in the man advantage. RPI 0 for 7 on the power play, and you can look at those numbers there, coupled with the play of Morris, and you have yourself the story of this game. Now, Lyndon Marshall has played very well as well. You have to give him credit.
He has definitely played very well.
Especially during that 5-minute major penalty.
Yeah, he experienced a lot of shots on that.
Right, and he has been cool and calm, and really, so far this year, he hasn't given up what you call a soft goal. Everything has been, maybe the one that squeaked through his pads, the first one, borderline. He made the initial stop, and but if there's one, you could say, that one he wants back is probably the first one. Other than that, you're not going to stop the shot by Burke in the top left corner, and he was unfortunate that puck hit off the post and then hit off his back and into the net. So, in a power play, nonetheless, you don't give a lot of blame to goalies on power play goals against you. So
no, exactly.
Marshall's played pretty well. The Engineers are still out shooting Notre Dame 31-27.
Yeah. So in comparison to past weekends, again, like the Engineers have really upped the shot count, which is definitely an important role in a hockey game. Getting the shots out there is what's going to get the goalie on the opposing team to let them in and mix up a goal or shake it up a little bit.
3-0 game with RPI winning a defensive zone draw. That's their 27th face-off win of the night compared to 39 for Notre Dame. Nardella shoots it in, glove down by Marshall. He'll leave it aside for Wilson. Jared Wilson up ahead for Orval. He'll stop at the half wall and backtrack a bit, throw it off the end wall in his own zone for Harris, who backhands it near side for Wilson. Coming up on 7 minutes to go in the 3rd period, tipped in deep by Tyranese. Nardella far side, connects to Morrison. Given away, thrown towards the net, and Polino is in front for a screen, trying to redirect the pass and or shot from Orval. Didn't quite do it. Now Orval stick handling into the zone, pops free. Turning with it is Riley, shielding it away from Morrison. Riley down low, spins around in the corner to the near point for TJ Samek. Samek a wrister, hit a leg. It was Della, looked like he stuck his leg out to block that shot. Cleared high off the glass and out to center. Not enough on it for icing. Backtrack to the Engineers' end. Samek, a long pass, tipped all the way down by Polino. Stopped behind the goal by Morris. Looking for his 2nd shutout of the year. Would be his 2nd career shutout as well. Good connection ahead. Here's Brower in. Drop pass. O'Leary waiting and shooting. Looking maybe to find his teammate on the back door, Brower. Well, that didn't connect. Back to the point. Near point peak. Rister hit a leg. It'll be picked up there by Prapovesses. And thrown to center, good connection, although the return feed near side for Whiffen, trying to corral it there, swatted by a glove. That'll be a hand pass. And a face-off in the Notre Dame zone coming up, 5:53 to play. 3-0 Fighting Irish. Let's take a look at the numbers there. What do we have? Anything stick out? Power play, face-offs, 39-27. Notre Dame.
We're even on shot attempts, but
It's true. Shot attempted 46 all, yep.
Yep, and we've gotten more shots on goal. A little more accuracy there.
Yep. Block shots, Engineers have gotten in front of 10. Notre Dame has gotten in front of 8 shots. There's a shot by Wilson. That puck did not sit for him. It just flies off the glass. Now back to the point for Wilson. Settles it down, takes a shot, hit a leg. Rebound, they score! Todd Burgess with his first collegiate goal. The Engineers aren't done yet. It's a 3-1 game with 5:42 to go.
That was a great goal. He picked up his head. He saw the goalie was down. He saw Morris was down. He lifted the puck, top shelf. That's exactly what you want.
And they take the puck off the ice. Todd Burgess with his first goal as an Engineer. Former Fairbanks Ice Dog and a native of Phoenix, Arizona. It's his 7th point. He came in with 6 assists in 10 games, so he was being productive. Just not in the goal department. He finally gets it here. Got to be a good feeling to do it against anyone but a nationally ranked opponent as well. In Notre Dame has to feel a little extra special, and it gets RPI back in the game, down just 2 with 5:33 to go. Credit Wilson for settling that puck down. Didn't try to shoot it too quickly. He's able to get the shot to force a rebound finally, and Norris gave one up. Bouncing puck at center ice. Burgess throws a hit. Ogilvy dumps it in. Penalty coming up here. This will slow up any thoughts the Engineers had of trying to come back. And now Wilson not happy about something as Tyrannies got decked in retaliation, I think. I thought the initial penalty was on RPI. It looked like it was. Now Tyrannies was down on a knee. They might get both of them here. We'll have to sort this out.
Right, the retaliation tends to be what the refs kind of look at.
Right, and they were calling the initial penalty.
Right.
So they might get both number 11s here.
Looks about like it.
Which is a break for RPI because they were going to be on the kill.
Yeah.
If not for the retaliation from Cal Burke. So there won't be any number 11s on the ice for the next 2 minutes. It all depends on if anybody's going to get more than the 2 minutes, and I don't see that being the case.
Right, it looked to be about even, but the refs are disputing.
They are discussing it. You're right. The only thing you could see is maybe Burke getting more because he hit Tyrannies into the boards, right? And Tyrannies' penalty was I believe a stick penalty, a stick infraction, whether a hook or a slash or something or a trip.
Something minor.
But so we will see. We will see what they come up with here, and this very well could change the complexion of the final 5:14. If RPI somehow gets a power play out of this, oh, they're kicking him out. This is big. Cal Burke's being sent off here, I think. There he goes. So RPI is going to have they've been gifted an opportunity here to come back in this game.
Yeah.
Because they're going to get a power play out of this.
I mean, there's a no tolerance thing. There's a no tolerance rule for fighting.
Right. So it is 5. So RPI, with all their power play woes, or whatever you want to call it, for the first stage of this game, they're 0 for 7. They're going to have an opportunity on the power play, non-releasable, to score for 3 minutes here. I think. They haven't put the penalty on the board yet. Well, it's going to be, it's going to be 2 minutes of 4-on-4, if I have this right, and then a 3-minute non-releasable power play.
Penalties to Burke, 5 minutes period, and a disqualification.
Wow, that's worse than a DQ, I believe, is worse than a game misconduct.
Wow.
I believe it involves more suspension time. Anyway, they haven't put the penalty on the board yet. There it is.
5 minutes.
2 minutes of 4-on-4. We'll see who serves the penalty. There's no one over there yet. But then RPI will have 3 minutes of power play time, essentially the rest of the game.
Right.
minus 14 seconds.
Which is huge to end the game like that.
Right. So at one point, maybe if the Engineers don't score in the first minute or so, you pull the netminder, you get 6 on 4.
Which would be a great advantage.
And if the Engineers do score, they stay on the power play. So you basically be a man up for the rest of this game once we hit the 3-minute mark. So plenty to think about there. Evan Tierney's in the box for interference, but a 5 and 10 for spearing for Cal Burke, who remember scored the second goal of this game for Notre Dame. Third goal was then put home by Notre Dame.
I will be honest, in all my years of hockey, I've never seen a spearing call.
Never seen spearing?
I have never seen a spearing call. I've heard of them. I've never seen them.
You hang out at the field house, you'll see a few more.
I guess so.
Then Bobby Nardella scored the power play goal for Notre Dame. There's a shot off the draw. This could be nearly catastrophic for RPI's comeback chances there, as the puck was dangerously thrown in front of the net, but now tapped to center. Now they're out the other way. Prapavesis into the zone, trying to work it down low. Either way, we should have a fun finish here. 4-on-4 for another minute 40 as it's shot all the way down. This should be icing on Notre Dame, and it is. It'll send the draw back the other way.
And RPI now, hearing the fans cheering, hearing everything, seeing Cal Burke getting kicked out, we could definitely see a bit of a more aggression within the Engineers' play, and that could definitely benefit them with the power play that they'll have in a few minutes here. In 1 minute 36 seconds, they'll be on the power play.
Riley a shot that one, or excuse me, Wilson a shot. Blocker save by Morris. Puck in the corner, near side. Worked out here, and here's Ogilvie trying to break to center for Notre Dame on the carry. Ogilvie in, he'll chip it in, and Notre Dame will get a change. Tommy Grant pick it up there. Junior defenseman from Sparta, New Jersey. Hand it off near side for Wilson. Wilson lobs it in. Try and chase it down himself with Liljegren. Liljegren working it to the far boards. Liljegren carries to the point. Out to center. Now a race for the puck. And Liljegren had to turn on the extra jets there to try and beat Evans to it. Now a drop pass here. Walking in, a wrist shot blocked by Wilson. He leads the Engineers in that department, and he showed it there, getting in front of another one. That's came into the game with 18 block shots to Jared Wilson. I know he has at least a couple tonight. Here's Liljegren in, turning back towards his own zone as RPI changes. 38 seconds left before RPI will have a 3-minute non-releasable power play. To center comes Riley on the move. Riley into the zone. Another move, trying to pick it up on the other side. Couldn't quite do it. Would have been a highlight reel play if he was able to find that puck on the other side of the defenseman, or Leary, I guess, the man he was trying to work around. Here's Nardella as the most recent Notre Dame goal, trying to walk right in, and he ran out of room there. Turns it back to the top. A shot coming. I believe Marshall got a piece of that try from Dello. Penalty about to expire here. Shot back to center ice, and it's over. 3 minutes of power play time here. 3:11 to go in the game. Here's Dello as Notre Dame playing a little bit of keep away here in the neutral zone. And a near giveaway. It is stolen away by Polino. Into the zone. Drop pass here into the skates of Burgess. He'll slow it up at the near wall. Far side feed. Prapavesis looking for the redirect. Whiffen was there but couldn't quite get his stick on it. Now Harris at the near point. Up the wall for Burgess, into the middle for Whiffen. Back to Harris at the blue line. Far side, Prapavesis, top of the circle. Now Harris again near side. Wrist shot skips wide. Polino, near side wall for Burgess. To the point for Harris. He keeps it in. Harris walking in. A wrist shot that goes wide off the glass. Prapavesis at the far wall. 2:15 to go in the power play. 2:27 left in regulation. RPI down 3-1 against number 4 Notre Dame. Here's Harris up top. Fakes a shot, off for Burgess. Burgess walking in, thought about a wrister, across, a one-timer, and that hits a body in front. Hit Jenkins, who doesn't have a stick. So not only are they on the kill, Jenkins doesn't have a stick, looking for the redirect, and it's going to be covered right between the legs of Polino, who couldn't find the puck when Morris could.
Cale Morris once again sticking strong in there, even though there were bodies kicking at his gloves, and it was definitely hard to see that puck come in at him because there were bodies in front of the net, and the shot came in without him knowing.
Draw coming up here, 2:07 to go. Empty net for RPI. They'll play 6-on-4 here. 1:53 on this power play. So if the Engineers can get one quickly here, they can really ramp things up here. Now you have to, of course, get one before you can get two. Here's a draw coming up in the Notre Dame zone. Evans, their top face-off man against Hayhurst, and Hayhurst wins it. Far side, Wilson, a shot. Save, rebound, pops to the near side, and Tierney's tracks it down. To the point for Riley. Into the skates of Wilson, who quickly moves it far side for Emil Orval. Orval, circle, down low, redirect save, rebound, Tierney's! And he couldn't put it home, and it's cleared down the ice. Also on the kill, mind you, Notre Dame can shoot for that open net from anywhere and not risk an icing call. Wilson, drop pass. Riley through the neutral zone. Near side wall for Liljegren. He'll shovel it in deep. Trying to clear it out far side, and it hits off the glass, and it's shot down the ice to the near corner. RPI will have to backtrack and pick it up there. And being corrected by Kurt Stott, the 5th time the Engineers football team has played in the NCAAs. Don't want to get that wrong. Here they come. Hayhurst, a shot. Blocker saved away. Down low, Hayhurst. Knocked away from him. He'll kick it up the wall for Liljegren. Now Orval looking to throw it in front. Wilson had a crack at it. Swept wide of the goal. Chance to clear it out far side. Glove down, but not kept in. It'll be shot in by Riley. And a chance here. 1 minute to go. 45 seconds on the power play. Going for glory. They score from their own end of the ice. It's gross. And it surely was, but very pretty if you're a Notre Dame fan. And that should wrap things up. Gross from his own circle. Skipped it into the net. And it's 4-0, a shorthanded goal for Jordan Gross. That is his 5th goal of the season.
Empty netters are a tough goal to swallow in a way because it's uncontrollable and they can just throw it down there and it's the luck of the draw.
He was at the bottom of his own circle, and there were Engineers actually hit off the glove of one of the RPI players. That was a wild shot down ice. Shot down by Notre Dame, 30 seconds to go in this penalty still. And now Prapavesis, stick handling through center ice. 4-1, I should say. I said 4-0. Of course, RPI scored. Prapavesis up the wall, still 30 seconds to go in the game. Jerry walking in. Rister skims wide off the glass and out of the zone. Picked up by Harris. Major penalty about to expire. And Harris will gather in the neutral zone. In deep it goes. Knocked down there, Jerry. 8 seconds to go. Penalty's over. Back to 5 aside. Engineers 0 for 8 on the man advantage tonight. Prapavesis with no time left. That'll do it. Notre Dame wins this one 4-1. We had a chance for an exciting end there, but the empty netter kind of quelled things in the final moments of this one. But overall, RPI has to be happy with how they played in this game. They were never really out of it, and they showed signs of being the better team over certain stretches. They end up outshooting Notre Dame on the night, 39-31. That's a season high in shots for the Engineers. So plenty of positives to take away. I'm sure they'll look at some tape and be back tomorrow night. Haley with a chance to try and even this series up. Right.
They played a full 60 minutes until right there at the end with the empty netter, but it's hard to come back with that once you know you're down a few goals already. So overall, like you said, the Engineers would definitely be happy with how they played, and Notre Dame, they definitely powered through and got a bunch of great goals tonight.
With that, I'll run down the scoring, and we'll have Haley come up with her first offensive and defensive Engineers of the game. So Haley, take a look at the stats, and we'll come up with the offensive and defensive Engineers while I get the scoring to you. Remember, these are subject to change. Jake Evans got the game scoring started at 10:49 of the first period with his 5th goal of the year from Matt Hellickson and Colin Tyson. Then it was Cal Burke who made it a 2-0 game from Andrew Ogilvie at 11:36 of the first. No scoring in the second period. In the third, it was Bobby Nardella with his 4th goal of the year, making it 3-0 on the power play at 12:05. RPI pulled one back at 14:18. Todd Burgess' first career goal from Mike Prapavesis and Jacob Hayhurst. And then it was the empty netter, a shorthanded goal to boot from Jordan Gross, his 5th of the season, from Cale Morris, the goaltender, at 9:07. Made it a 4-1 final. Morris picked up the win, made 38 saves on the night to improve to 8-1. Lyndon Marshall, 27 stops. He suffers his first collegiate loss. He drops to 1-1-1. Haley, offensive and defensive engineers, who do you got?
I would say Jacob Hayhurst tonight. He had great opportunities on the goal and
an assist.
And an assist. And then also I would say Will Riley. He really stood well in front of the net. He cleared the front of the zone really well, and he also got 10 shots as a defenseman.
Whew.
So
That's
I think
yeah.
he played really well.
All right, those are your offensive and defensive engineers of the game. Before we go, I'd like to thank Dan back at the station for helping us get on the air and stay there. And also like to thank the Rensselaer Union, which provides the funding for WRPI and all the club-related activity of the Institute, including WRPI's coverage of RPI hockey, football, and baseball. A reminder, WRPI is on the World Wide Web. Point your browser to WRPI.org. You can pick up our broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so long as WRPI is broadcasting. We'll provide that broadcast on our internet feed. Once again, that's WRPI.org. Next, our next RPI Sports broadcast is tomorrow at noon. Kurt and Bob are going to be down in Delaware for the Engineers as they take on Engineers football as they take on Wesley College in the first round of the NCAA tournament. 32 teams make it, so it's there's a lot of college football teams out there that are going to be at home on Saturday, or at least not playing in the big show, the big tournament, with some bowls going on across the country as well. But RPI football, shout out to them, and not going to be on the radio, but I want to give one final shout out to the cross country crew out in Illinois and their big race tomorrow. We're wishing them the best of luck as well at Nationals. Next hockey broadcast is tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. Engineers and number 4 Notre Dame right back at it in Game 2 of this series. Haley, great job tonight. Thanks for coming on. You did a fantastic job. We're looking forward to tomorrow night as well.
Thank you. Yes, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, my second broadcast.
All right. For Haley Miller, I'm Perry Lascaris. We thank you for listening to tonight's game. Once again, your final score was number 4, Notre Dame 4, and the Engineers 1. This has been live coverage of RPI Hockey, 91.5 FM, WRPI Troy.